Oh, they're getting there, man. They're getting there.
Yeah.
Disney's gonna run the world.
Literally.
It's got to be Disney, Walmart, and like...
As the years...
Chevy.
Well, like there was a fucking deal here a while back
Google,
that
man,
popped
Google.
up. Fucking...
Google and Disney merged.
there's
Yeah.
like... Oh, man, like
Who says
6
they haven't?
companies that
Touche.
own like all the fucking food. And like, you know... Like, everything you buy at the store is one of 6 companies.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Well,
Like,
depends on which store you go
you know,
to.
like, Hershey's, and Mar, or like Hershey's.
They're all like subsidiaries.
Yeah, they're
Right.
fucking. They're all.
There's
yeah.
one main company
There's
that owns
there's
all
like
the name
Procter
brands.
and Gamble.
Yeah.
Fucking Johnson and Johnson. There's like a few like.
Main companies,
Yeah.
but they own all the trademarks and the naming of the other companies. Over the years, they bought them out.
Speaking of companies buying everything out, this really has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you always ruin it by saying that.
Hi.
So it just made me think about it because I was thinking about car companies that buy everybody up and own all the car companies and blah blah blah. And Volkswagen owns half of the car companies that Chevy doesn't own now. Well, remember when they got in trouble
Ford,
for
Ford is
Ford
like
too.
that way too. They own a fuckload.
Remember how they got in trouble recently, a couple years ago, for doing all the they were lying about their, what do you call it? The fucking
the diesel
economy and
emissions.
shit. The diesels
yes.
were supposedly clean and getting 60 miles to the gallon, and they were
Yes.
dirty as shit and getting 30 miles to the gallon or whatever.
Yes, yes.
Well, I didn't know is they had a shit ton of them. When they got them, when they lost the lawsuit, they had to buy a bunch of those cars back from people. Everybody that bought one, they had to buy it back.
Right. Or they had to
PepsiCo.
offer to buy them back.
Right. You could say
What?
no.
PepsiCo.
Oh, it's fucking huge too. Yeah.
So they had the.
Who said that?
James Carter.
Hey, James Carter.
So.
Hey, James.
All the Volkswagens, Audis, whatever, all the diesels, they had to buy most of them back at least, and they had 450,000 of them that they bought back that they have nowhere to park. They can't sell them. They can't do anything with them. They're literally trash, brand new cars. And I was watching a thing on YouTube today where they were showing they have them parked like they bought one of the old Superdomes in Detroit, and they just have them parked everywhere. They bought a military base, and they have them parked everywhere. And they just showed pictures of just
Can you
acres and
imagine
acres
that?
of them just parked next to each other. Brand new VWs and Audis and
It's like the
all that
airport in
shit.
Dubai.
Yeah. Yeah, you ever seen that shit?
Oh, all the fucking supercars
Supercars
that
and
are just
shit? Yeah,
left
just
there.
left.
Laying around because nobody, like people running from there. Because apparently it's a
It's
prisonable
illegal
offense
to
to
have
be in
debt.
debt. Or to be behind in debt,
Yeah.
I guess.
You miss a payment on that car, you skip town.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're not paying your house payment, you can go to prison for it.
Fuck.
So when you come from Europe and buy a Ferrari and a house and then can't make the payments, you go home.
Yeah.
And
It was fun while it lasted.
Mhm.
I bet it was.
So Battlegrounds.
Very good, very
said it right
good,
that
very
time.
good.
You got it.
Um,
Not Battlefronts.
Yeah, Battlegrounds, PC, Xbox game, survival,
Yep.
1 versus
PlayerUnknown's.
100, unless you're in group matches or whatever. Launched a mobile version today, and 3 of us tried it. Can you guess which 3?
I don't know. That's a hard one here.
That's funny.
Fuck you guys.
Brian's recently mastered text messaging.
Yes, he has.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So there's an online. What is it? You said now it's a mobile.
Yeah,
new
there was
thing.
it was
What's
there was
been
already
existing?
there's already a PC version and then an Xbox version.
Okay.
And so now they just
All
released the
online?
mobile. Yeah, all online. It's only online. There's no offline game.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's only online, killing other people.
So the gist of it is everybody starts out with absolutely nothing. You parachute out of an airplane onto a map, land wherever you want, and you have to go find guns and cars and whatever
Clothing.
it is.
That's not the one where you said.
Yeah, I talked about
like
it. Yep.
no, the one with the time limit.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, okay, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Now I remember. Okay.
And
Yeah.
the map will start shrinking on you if you
yeah.
if
You
you're
gotta
not-
stay inside the
Right.
circle,
Yep.
right?
So you can't just go find a you can't just go find a hiding spot and sit there. You have to keep moving or you're gonna die
Right,
because the
right.
map will shrink on you.
Did you,
Kill you.
did you check it out yet, James?
PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Yep.
But yeah, the PC version's been out for a while. Xbox has been out for for like 6 or 7 months now, and it's really popular. I have I play it on Xbox all the time. I'm addicted, apparently, according to my wife. But and she was very mad when she found out yesterday that there's a mobile version now. She's like, now you're never gonna spend time, even when you're
Can't
spending
even
time
get you
with
out
me,
of the house to
you're
get you
still
away
gonna
from
be
it.
playing the fucking game. But it's like a real faithful port. Like everything in it, aside from the controls, because you're on a phone, everything in it is really almost straight off like what's on the PC.
How
and
far
the
away do you
Xbox.
think we are from like the phone companies like cluing into like the gaming world and like making like gamer specific leaning phones that have like actual cooler controls or whatever?
Oh, they already do.
Mhm.
Do they?
Oh yeah, like my phone has a gaming mode. I mean, almost all the Galaxies do now.
Oh really?
Where it like you can set it to where if you're the mobile is free. You can set it to where you can literally like it won't notify you of anything. It won't ring. It'll just be for gaming at
nice.
that time if you want it to.
Fucking don't interrupt me.
Well,
You
because
can
last
set
thing
it-
you want to do is be about to win a game, and then
Oh,
like
man.
you know so and so fucking text you, and that pops up on your screen, and you die
Right.
because you couldn't see who's shooting at you.
Exactly.
Not that Danny could see who was shooting at him anyways.
Like you can set it to where basically like your phone, your settings can be cranked way down so your battery will last longer, but as soon as you go into the gaming mode, it turns your screen resolution way up and turns your sound quality way up and all that shit, so it gets way better too.
For the important shit.
Right, exactly. To say so when you're sitting around playing games and don't give a shit about how long your battery lasts because you can plug the fucking thing in.
Right.
It's pretty fucking cool though.
What I find impressive is my phone is by far not the newest phone on the market.
What do you got?
Note 4. We've discussed how
Which the
it's-
Note 9
yeah,
is coming
several
out.
generations behind. And yes,
A few.
it automatically bumped me down to the lowest quality settings, but it's still amazing to me that 100 people can be online in this game, and it's not a PC that's a super gamer rig, it's not a dedicated video game system, it's a 4 or 5 year old phone, and it ran flawlessly. There was no glitches.
Oh
no,
really?
And
Nice.
yeah, it looked decent. It was pretty impressive, really.
That's one of the things watching online comments. A lot of everyone said it that's played it so far says that it's pretty stable.
How do they accomplish that?
Magic.
Aliens, man.
Elves.
Take your pick. One of those.
Magic alien elves.
There it is.
We got the new
The,
Netflix original.
So it's made by
movie.
Keebler,
Right, yeah.
basically. Keebler's fucking
Yeah, pretty
game.
much.
A subsidiary of.
Yeah.
it is pretty impressive though
Nabisco.
because it's literally 100 people on the same little map battling each other, and it's so far at least it's not glitchy, it's not freezing up and shit. I mean, it's what you used to have to spend, upwards of $1,000 on a computer to get to accomplish.
Yeah, to get it to accomplish. Yeah, it ran real smooth. I only
Is
got
this
a
the
chance
first
to.
game kind of out there like
No,
that
there's-
does this?
There's actually a bunch of rip-offs, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a
when you
bunch
search
of
for it, if you
rip-offs
search
like
for
this.
Battlegrounds instead of PUBG, whatever,
PUBG.
there's
Oh,
like
is that
a
what
bunch
that
of,
is? What the fuck
Yeah.
does PUBG stand for?
PUBG, Player Unknown Battlegrounds.
I've seen
Everyone just
that
calls it-
pop up.
That's
all
a
over
long.
fucking
That's a
Facebook.
lot to say all the time. So we just
Yeah.
shortened it. Those of us that play have shortened it to PUBG.
Okay.
Or
But yeah,
Battlefronts. That's
or
right.
Battlefronts if
Yeah.
you're Danny,
Yeah.
which is a completely different game.
But
But
another
I,
shooter.
yeah, it does run really smooth, and like I said, it's real faithful to the when I only got to play one game last night, and it was real the maps the same one as what you have on Xbox and on computer. The PC does have some more maps; those will eventually be released on the phone. Right now, you just have the starting map, but it's the same map, the same buildings. As I was running around, I was like, "Oh, this that's the same place I go when I'm on the Xbox," or this is the same thing. Only thing really different was the controls, and those took a while to get used to for me.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
it,
it's...
But I got my 2 kills, and my team came in second place for my first game, so I'll take it.
is it capped at 100 people per game?
Mm-hmm.
So like the
Yep.
first 100 in that deal, fucking boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it starts the
And then it
next
starts the
100.
next game. And then there's different game modes. Like there's the one where it's 100 people, and it's free-for-all, everybody against everybody. Then they have 2 different team ones. They have one where you play with you and a buddy, so it's 2-man teams.
Okay.
So everybody's in teams of 2. And then they have another one where everyone's in teams of 4, but it's still 100 people. So
Have
they
they-
have like 52-man teams.
They don't have, like,
25 4-man
50
teams.
versus 50?
Nope, they don't have anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Do they have it where you can sign in and pick your buddy?
Yeah,
yet?
you
On
can
the-
invite a friend to play
Do
with
they have
you.
it on the mobile version
Yeah,
too?
I'm
I
saying on
didn't
the
even
mobile.
look.
Yeah, on the mobile you can play with your next time you're playing, you could send me and John an invite. We could be your teammates.
Hint, hint,
Hint, hint.
motherfucker.
That did sound
Right.
kind of hinty.
So
Is hinty a word?
hinted.
It's something my wife would definitely say. She puts a Y on fucking
On everything? Everything's a Y?
I got
Fucking-
ish to a lot
yeah.
of stuff.
Every time she thinks of you, why?
Why? But yeah, you can invite your friends on the mobile. So, anybody, and it doesn't matter, what, I don't think it matters what operating system they're playing on. It shouldn't matter. Android, iOS, I don't think it matters. You can invite any of your friends to play with you. So we could, have at least 3 people we know playing together.
And if they can do that, why the fuck can't they do it on game systems?
Well, me and John were just talking about the crossplay earlier. I was talking about how annoyed I am that we don't have crossplay, and I was telling him the thing that's hanging up right now is Sony. PlayStation's hanging it up. They're the ones who are holding back on crossplay because Nintendo and Microsoft are already doing crossplay with Minecraft.
Really?
But Sony would not sign on for it. They said, no, we can't do that because we want to be able to properly protect our young gamers if they're mixing with people from other gaming networks. And I was like, what kind of fucking excuse is that?
They don't do any monitoring anyway.
Like, exactly. What kind of monitoring are you doing on your own network to protect young gamers that apparently all of us that play on Xbox and PC were a bunch of like really bad perverts or something that Sony children should not play with.
And I'm sorry, but I've played a couple of online games with headphones on. I don't do that anymore because of the little children on PS4.
There's nothing worse
But
than
that was
cussed out
their
by a
excuse.
12-year-old
When
for
when
2
you
hours.
read their little thing press release they put out on for why they wouldn't sign on, it's complete bullshit. And even like the CEO of Microsoft called him out on it, kind of like on it being complete bullshit. But it's the future. Eventually, it has to happen. You can't keep now that all the networks are pretty much like the same.
Roddy
You
Carter
know,
just sent a
it's-
leak for a game for Brian.
There's no reason that they can't.
What?
Let's see if this
The
is-
farming simulator. Yeah, I've seen that game.
Nice.
He says Brian needs this game so he can practice for real life.
Practice
It's a farming
farming.
simulator.
Does it have a mini game where you get to build a race car?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
As your fucking hobby. Little side quest.
Little side quest. Spend 80 hours building a
It's
race
not,
car.
it's
while
not to
your
get
crops are
extra money
dying.
to put in your farming. It's
No,
to
it's
waste some of the money
Wasting
that you've gotten
that you
from
have
farming.
from farming. Really, it's a race car builder game, but you have to farm to
Farm
get
to-
money to build your race car. That's what
There
it
we
really
go.
is.
That makes sense.
But crossplay, I say it's the future. It's going to happen eventually. I mean, you already have crossplay with Microsoft and PC already does it. Now Microsoft and Nintendo and PC are doing it with Minecraft. Like eventually, Sony's going to have to. They should get
Minecraft
on.
is a fucking.
Multiplayer game.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
right
you
now?
build shit with your buddies, or you battle. There's a whole battle like game in Minecraft now where you fight each other.
Rocket League after
Have
the
the-
main game.
Have the fucking graphics got any bigger or better?
No,
or is it
still
still just a
Minecraft.
fucking?
Yeah.
That was by intent.
That's how Minecraft is meant to be. He's like, what the fuck?
Okay.
But there's a few other smaller games.
If the graphics are too square,
out
you're
there
too old.
that let you do crossplay, and like right now, Sony's the only one who doesn't want to participate. And I just say, just pull the trigger already. Let those of us who are on Xbox or PlayStation play Call of Duty with each other, or
Yeah.
play PUBG whenever PlayStation finally gets it. Like,
So does PlayStation have
there's
that?
no reason they don't have. PlayStation's the only one who doesn't have it right now. Really, PlayStation and Switch. It's not on the Nintendo.
And I know several people that have traded in their PlayStations or Xboxes to get the other one because that's what their friends play online.
Right.
Mhm.
And you can keep your customers buying your systems and games if you allow crossplay.
Yeah, exactly. You give crossplay. It doesn't matter what system you have. Get the one you like, because you can play with your friends no matter what they have. That would make sense. John's completely he nailed it when he said that earlier. Like,
And it's not
that
gonna
would make complete sense. Then you buy what you want.
financially. It's not going to hurt the game makers because it's only going to work with games that are on every platform
Exactly.
anyway.
Right.
So
I mean-
it's not
And
like
that are purchased by each player.
Are there
Right.
many of those?
Yeah, majority
Most.
most
Most of
most
them
games
are-
that are out there are
Yeah.
multi-platform. They're owned by a publisher that's not Microsoft or Sony. So they release like the Call of Duty. Call of Duty comes out. There's a PC version of it. There's an Xbox version and a PlayStation 4 version, which are pretty much all the exact same game, except for like maybe PlayStation might have 2 exclusive guns that the other 2 systems don't get. But like it makes a
Right.
difference to the other 2 systems because they don't see those guns. They're only on PlayStation. But like that's it. Otherwise, the games are exactly the same. They run the same. They play the same. They look the same. Nothing's different on it except for maybe some little exclusive to try to get someone to buy the PlayStation version instead of the Xbox.
Are there any games left that are just exclusive to?
Yeah, each system has their own exclusive games. Like Microsoft has like Halo, stuff like that. They own
Nintendo's
Mario
always
or
going to own
Link.
Mario.
Yeah, Mario, Link, Nintendo owns those, so those will only be on Nintendo systems.
I got you.
PlayStation has a few, like God of War.
Are there still
couple.
new
Ratchet
fucking
and
Mario
Clank, Twisted
games
Metal,
coming
I
out?
think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Those were old,
That Mario Odyssey for the Switch just came out the end of last
Which
year.
looked amazing.
It's fun, dude.
Really.
Ronnie
Yeah.
says the games are coded different for the different consoles, and they have to have a server that can translate. And that's true, but if they were planning ahead for that, that wouldn't be the issue.
That wouldn't be an issue. Yeah.
And each console, like PlayStation, would be responsible for making their code play well with a universal code that's already been determined. Everybody match this, and
most of the games that would apply to aren't written, like you said, they're written by outside developers anyway. It's not like PlayStation is designing those games.
Yeah, exactly. if it's a PlayStation designed game, it's only going to be on PlayStation. But whenever it's Call of Duty, that's Activision. They had to sit down and they built the game, and then they had to do whatever special thing they had to, so it runs on Xbox,
Right.
and whatever they had to, so it runs on PlayStation. And now a lot of these games are starting to get ports on Switch too. So they're having to do it for Nintendo. So the guys who are making the games are already doing the codes. I'm sure it would not be hard for them to encode it so they could run with the different systems. If, like you said, they were doing that from the beginning, like, okay,
Right.
we know this is how it's going to be. You make them work together.
right.
If they're going to make Battlegrounds, they just make it to run everywhere in the beginning. They plan for it.
Like, I mean, it can't be that hard because, like I said, they already do it. Like, it's not impossible because it is being done with Minecraft.
Right.
With Minecraft, with Nintendo and Microsoft, and on the PC, those are able to crossplay. So it's already someone's already worked it out. It's not like impossible. It's
And just think, like Call of Duty, for example. Everybody is paying. Nowadays you can buy better guns. You think people wouldn't pay for the privilege to play against the PC and the Xbox and
Oh yeah, if
be
it was
able
a couple
to
extra
be able
bucks
to
or
make
something.
your map that much bigger?
If
your
it was a
gameplay that
couple
much
extra
bigger?
bucks to like be able to do crossplay, I would do it on some games just to be able to whoop a
Right.
fucking PlayStation dude's face and rub it in it.
Every time you say
Are
crossplay,
you an Xbox guy or
Yeah.
Brian's picturing having to put on a dress.
no. Every time you say crossplay, I picture some chick at home in a Lara Croft outfit playing a game against Triangle Head from Resident Evil or something.
But yeah, I think it's it's in the future. It's gonna happen. Just depends on how long they're gonna try to keep it separate. And like John said, it can only be to your benefit.
Right.
Right.
Because unless you're afraid that if people can get whatever system they want to be able to play their games, they're not going to choose your system. That's the only reason I can think you're against it.
But there's
That you're
so
like,
few games out there that are like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, because you buy a system based off of the exclusives,
Right.
the ones that only are going to be on that system. That's what you base your purchase off of. Like when they say,
not me. I'm
No?
a PlayStation guy
well,
for
you're a
controller
PlayStation.
and
There,
playability.
there are a
and
few
durability.
people that are, they're going to stick PlayStation, they're going to stick Xbox. There's some people that when it's like PlayStation 5 and whatever the next Xbox is called going to be comes out, they're going to look at it and be like, okay, well, PlayStation has these games, Xbox has these games. No matter what, I'm going to be able to play Call of Duty. Which game series do I like better? Do I like playing Halo and Gears of War better, or do I like playing this better?
I bought one gaming system in the last decade, and I bought a PlayStation 2 because I found out not only can you play games on it, but it plays DVDs too.
Yep.
So I'm like, fucking A, right there,
It's a
man.
win-win. That's an entertainment system.
What was it?
Fuck yeah.
PS3 was the first Blu-ray one, right?
Yep.
So there was a time when Blu-ray players were so expensive that
They were
the
like
PS
$1,200.
Yeah.
Here's
bargain basement one.
for a short period of
When
time.
the-
It was like I was
PS3
living in
the-
California. I was like, I need a DVD player
Yeah.
anyways.
Yep.
And my
For sure.
fucking friends are telling me about this new fucking sprint car game that's I've gotta have it.
Yeah, there was a short
Boom,
time
that's
there
the
where the
easiest
PS3
fucking
was the
choice I
cheapest
ever
Blu-ray player you could get.
PlayStation 3, Sony lost money on every single PlayStation 3 sold.
Because of the Blu-ray player?
Because people are only going to play so much for a video game system, so they're paying. I think what was it, $400 for PS3 when
Roughly.
it first
Give
came
or
out.
take, yeah.
$400 for a PS3, which had a Blu-ray player in it. To buy just a Blu-ray player in the store was still $1,000.
Right.
Oh shit.
So it
So
was literally
people
the
were
cheapest
buying.
Blu-ray player you could
Yeah,
get.
so people were buying PlayStation 3s because they were a Blu-ray player and a game console for $400 instead of going and spending $1,000 on just a Blu-ray player. So Sony was it was costing them more to make and build the PlayStation than what they were selling it for.
They totally could have sold it for $1,000 and it been a better deal than just buying a Blu-ray player.
Then it still would have been, but then the people who were buying it for games
Video
would have been
games,
like, "Fuck that! I'm not paying. I'd rather go buy a PC for $1,000 than buy a PlayStation for
Yeah.
$1,000."
That was kind of a weird line.
But
to
yeah,
try and
they
walk.
were. I think.
Well, that's a fucking catch-22.
Yeah,
isn't it?
so they were losing money on every single PlayStation that they sold. But they were just like, their whole thing was, if we get a big enough base of it, then the people buying the games is where the money will come in.
Made up for it in volume.
Yeah, volume is going to
Still
make
has
up for it.
PS3 60 gig. That's funny.
Did Did the fucking I don't even own a Blu-ray. Did the price of Blu-ray players come down?
Oh yeah, you
No,
can buy
Blu-ray
one for
players
like
are like
$30.
$30 now. They're like what DVD players. It's just like VCRs. They were expensive, and then once the DVD came out, look how cheap VCRs eventually. Then the DVDs got cheaper. Then Blu-rays came out. Just like with the HD TVs and the 4Ks. Like what you paid for a 4K last year for Christmas will be way different than what you're gonna pay this year. Like this is gonna be the first year where 4K TVs are back down to like reasonable pricing.
Right.
You know, you're gonna pay.
What's the next thing?
5K.
After Blu-ray.
Digital.
We haven't had digital. I guess really there hasn't
Media's
been.
going to go away.
There hasn't been a new thing moving forward. Like John said, everything's turning digital now.
You just fucking download everything.
Where you just download it and it's all on a hard drive.
Or
You
just
don't
stream
have,
it without having to download it.
Yeah, and there you don't have a limit of like you need this
covered.
disc that can put out that type of graphics if it's all digitally.
What?
Ronnie says, "What the fuck, Brian? Walk into a Best Buy for God's sake."
I don't fucking know this shit, man.
What he needs us for?
I really like on demand.
You guys are my
like
window into
Netflix
that.
and Amazon and stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Just
the streaming
renting
services.
Just
like,
rent the movie. You don't have to download it or have it take up space on your hard drive and delete it later or whatever. You just rent it.
Netflix it basically.
Yeah.
I just think like there's some evil fucking
Grandma?
manufacturer out there that's like, no, I need to be able to sell them something.
No, not really, because you think about
the case makers for all these movies.
well, you think about the
photographer,
on-demand.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want my art.
Right?
You think about the on-demand world. I mean, like newer titles on DirecTV, you're still paying $6-7 a piece for them, and you're basically making $6-7 a piece every time somebody pushes the button, and you do absolutely nothing.
and
It's like
too,
you're basically buying one DVD and letting everybody in the world borrow it for $7 a pop.
And here's one of the things too is that a lot of video games people are buying digitally now instead of buying the discs, and they sell. It costs the exact same amount to get it digital as it does to buy the disc.
Less. It should be
should
fucking
be less because they're not having to split that with. Walmart's not taking its cut. They're not having to pay for the delivery to get it sent to Walmart. Whatever
the raw
other
materials, the
whatever
pressing,
the
involved
factory
in
that
putting
makes
a
the
game on the
disc
shelf.
Let me
and all
clue
that
you in
shit's
on
being
business.
cut out.
Let me clue you in on business here. It's not what it costs.
It's what you'll pay
It's
for.
what it's worth to the consumers.
But
It's what
most
it's worth.
people are buying
But you
digital
take what it's
nowadays.
worth plus what it cost. The disc should cost more still.
Yeah. But
but
still
it's too late for that.
a lot of people
But if it
are
was
going,
more, nobody'd pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like
Exactly.
your fucking
But
PlayStation.
a lot of people aren't
argument,
paying for them now anyways either. A lot of people are going digital with their game purchases instead of buying a disc.
I do that so I don't have to drive to Casa Grande. And I can start playing at 9 o'clock
Right
at
away.
night instead of
You
at
don't
night.
have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to go and get it, bring it home,
So
install
stop
it in
gritting
your
your
thing.
teeth and complaining.
No, but
about
still.
It should be
Fuck that.
cheaper.
I
It still should be like cheaper.
It should be cheaper.
I've said from the beginning it should be like $10 cheaper.
Yeah,
just
easily.
like-
Every-
more people would buy digitally, which in the end it would make them more money because they're cutting out Walmart's.
They don't need a factory.
Yeah, they're cutting out
no
the
warranting
factory.
out bad
They're
discs.
cutting out the bad discs. They're cutting out their cut that goes to whoever is selling their discs.
It's actually saving the world because that shit's all made of plastic.
Right,
And that's
yeah.
all made from fossil fuels.
And you
Yeah,
can't
no
give
more-
it to
yeah.
somebody else and let them have it too.
Right.
So
You can't share it like.
not if
you
you
can't share it.
download
If
it.
it's digitally, it's on your system.
Oh, just on your console.
Yep,
Oh,
you don't have a disc to go give your buddy. So also,
It's just on my
that's
login.
making more
If you
people,
come over and log into my PlayStation, you can't play the digital games that I bought.
Yeah.
You can only play the digital games that you bought.
really,
Yeah,
Really?
it doesn't work like that on Xbox.
really.
Yeah, if you came over to my house and you logged
Mhm.
in on my Xbox with your profile, if you had an Xbox profile, you could play any of my digital games on your profile.
Plus his.
Well, that'll work if
From his console.
if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
That'll work if I stay logged in. Like if you're both logged in at the same
No,
time.
I don't have to be logged in.
But if I'm logged off, you won't have access to
I
my
could
shit.
be logged off playing on a completely different Xbox, and you could still play all the games on my Xbox
Really?
if you were on mine at home.
and
at
you
my
can
house.
still play the ones
And
you
I
bought
could still
too.
all play the games I bought on a completely different Xbox. Yeah, that's how Xboxes works.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you could come over,
Point to Xbox.
put your profile on my Xbox, play all my games, and I could be off in someone else's house playing on their Xbox and have complete access to all my games on theirs too.
Huh.
Yeah, so it doesn't restrict like that.
Interesting. Well, that's definitely a plus. Still not enough to make me change to an Xbox, but
No.
I know my big thing when I finally just was totally done with Xbox was because they were charging you to play online. But now everybody
PlayStation.
does
Yeah,
that,
everyone does
so-
that, and that's what everyone like. PlayStation kept players were like, "Oh, you guys got to pay for it." And I'm like, "Well, first off, our servers information's not getting hacked every other week because we're paying for security, and you guys aren't. And second of all, you guys are going to be paying very soon, so just chill." And now everybody pays to play online. It's just how it is.
Ronnie says it works on PS4 and Steam too. You just have to use the share option.
Ah, see, there you go. You didn't even know.
No, did not.
But
The more you know.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. I mean, you're paying for your ability to play online. I'm paying for my ability to play online. Why can't we play with each other? To get back to the original topic,
We're always stuck
It
playing
drives
with
me crazy.
ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I would love to be able to play like GTA with Danny.
Fuck
I
yeah.
gotta jump on because I have it's sitting on my shelf collecting dust. It's one of the few discs I actually have, but I don't play it because I really don't have anyone to play it with. If I could jump into one of your games, I'd pop it back on my Xbox and play it if they'd let us do crossplay.
It's funny. I have that one on disc too, but it's only because I bought it used, and you still can't do used digital yet. That would be nice. Trade it in. Somebody can buy your used digital.
Buy
copy.
your used
Yeah.
digital copy.
Share my
GameStop
download.
would still only give you $3 for it.
Yes.
Right. And then sell it for 40.
Sell
Yeah.
it for 40. That's man. That's one of the reasons I stopped buying discs. Was just because GameStop started, like you said, driving to Casa Grande in the first place, and then they just
And-
pissed me off.
A tops 5-minute transaction ends up taking like 15 because they're forced to try and get you to pre-order games or get the membership card that's just not worth it, or God only knows what other promotions they got going on. You're like, no,
do you want to pay?
No, I just,
do you want to pay for disc protection?
No, just
in
stop,
case
stop.
Your disc gets
I just
hurt?
want.
But what if your disc gets scratched? You need to pay an extra $1 in case your disc gets scratched.
Jesus, John.
I still have games from my on PlayStation 2 that I've had for however fucking long PlayStation 2's out that work fine. They're not fucking scratched. I don't need $1 protection. That
Actually,
pisses
that
me
was
off.
longer. This was 2000 and
Oh, well, you're going back for a PlayStation 2.
2003.
Mm-hmm. Unless
You
you're
probably
out
still
there,
have it too.
unless
huh?
you're out there using your fucking disc as a coaster or something, like you take it out of the system and you put it back in its case. Like you don't need to pay for extra protection in case it gets
Right.
scratched. That's
And especially
stupid
PlayStation 2 and 3 were pretty durable with that.
Oh,
I mean,
you could fucking
scratch
play
the fuck out of
frisbees with them
Yeah.
bitches and they'd still rub a little fucking lotion on them and then
Yeah.
dry it off and they'd run fine.
PlayStation 1, especially the black bag
The black discs?
discs.
Oh, yeah, you
they
cannot
sucked.
scratch those things. You couldn't fuck those discs up. Break
But,
that bitch in half and scotch tape it back together to still play the game.
Have you ever had a disc explode in a drive?
No.
I have not, but
I
I've
had
seen
one
it happen
in a
on the
place
internet.
in a PC. One night I think it was just music or something too.
That was porn.
And no, on a disc? No.
And
It's
just
that-
music.
It's that German underground shit that you fucking that you're into.
Nice.
Goats and shit.
The
yeah.
midgets.
No, but I was sitting there one night, and all of a sudden you just hear it started whining louder than normal. It's like the fucking thing took off and started spinning faster, and all of a sudden just BAM! What the fuck was that? And I hit the eject button, wouldn't come out. What the fuck? I just like pull it open, and pieces of disc everywhere. It literally
Oh, fuck.
exploded. I don't know if it had.
House on Walton?
This
No,
fucking,
it was here.
Yeah.
I've had a disc explode in my hand because I got pissed off and took it out and snapped it in half, but
That's
never
that
inside
Mission
the fucking
Impossible
player.
This fucking man
Oh,
self-destruct in 5 seconds.
seconds.
This bootleg country music will self-destruct.
This German midget porn is going to explode
No, you will.
within 5 seconds of you exploding.
I don't remember what it was, honestly, but I can't remember if it was an original or burnt disc or what, but it flat exploded.
Probably something you got off fucking LimeWire that fucking
Oh,
It could
sure.
be.
your computer was like, no more.
Except for I think we used
It's
Morpheus.
giving me cancer.
It was
I used Morpheus.
that was some serious virus protection.
Right?
Nope, there's one in here. We're lighting it
I'm gonna
up.
blow the whole fucking disc out, man. I could just see, like, I could imagine, like, because, you know, like
Computer's
you
white
said, you
blood cells.
when you would jimmy
Yeah.
the trays open because it would get stuck, like, and then you pull it open and just, like, shards of disc fall out. Can you imagine that shit? Like, what would you, I don't know what I'd be thinking in my mind, like,
Yeah.
Oh, man, what
is
the
my
fuck
shit
was
ever gonna
that?
fucking, I'd be putting another disc in instantly to make sure that shit's still playing.
But something you didn't care about.
Yeah, so, oh yeah, I'd be looking through my shit like,
His
One of
wife's
those-
stuff.
where's one of them, baby, where's your CDs
fucking,
at?
How to Stitch 101. Here we go.
Right.
One of those.
Where's Where's that Sex and the City DVD at?
One of those PC games from Walmart that come in the normal jewel case.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Five for $8.
Go get like one of those
$8.
like the free to play ones that you get in the little cardboard sleeve hanging at the counter. Like, yeah.
You know what somebody needs to bring back? Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh
I
God.
thought they did redo that. Like,
Not too long ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, they did one. I think.
Really?
I thought I remembered hearing something about it in one of the magazines or something. Like,
I don't know.
Last one I saw, I think, was Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, and that one sucked kind of bad
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one basically that was casino or some shit? Wasn't that one basically just gambling?
Possibly. I can't remember.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Do you guys remember the one when I remember when the Xbox 360 first came out? There was a version. It was like a Girls Gone Wild video game. You guys ever see that? It was like a trivia game, and like they'd be asking these hot ass chicks like the questions. It'd be like a video of them asking the questions, and then you would have to try to. Then it would pause, and then you would answer the question. If you got it right, and then like I don't remember how it worked. Like you got the question right, and then you guessed if you thought the girl was gonna get the question wrong or right, and then if you were right on both, then it would show like an uncut version of the video, and it was straight Girls Gone Wild. She gets it wrong, she takes her top off.
Wow.
Shakes her titties around.
How did we miss
it was
that?
it was
I don't
out
know.
like they were like it was really Girls Gone Wild because they were out on like the beaches and shit asking these girls their questions.
Right.
You get it wrong, you got to take your top
Did
off.
the girls in the video game sue the manufacturer right after it came out?
No, I don't think so, because I think they were all of age. But unlike Girls
They
Gone
signed
Wild.
waivers.
They definitely
Right?
were.
But yeah, and then if you didn't get it right, then it would like still show the girl do whatever, but it would black bar it.
Okay.
And so it was like you were like trying, and you had to earn so many points to be able to see it without
Why
it. The
wouldn't
more
it be
people
open
you had
this?
playing, the more chance you had of getting to see the boobs.
Right on. What
That's
about
hilarious.
DOA Bikini Bash?
Oh
or
yeah,
something?
yeah. The beach volleyball
Yeah.
bash with the DOA
And
chicks.
you ended up just playing Barbie with them, dressing them up,
Yeah,
and then trying to get the camera angle to take good pictures.
I can't remember
The
what that
graphics
game
were
was
amazing
called,
on
but I
that game
had it
for the
on the
time.
fucking 360.
Uh,
But yeah, like that's it's like straight up Brian's alley, man. He would have been like googling the shit out of some questions to try to see them titties.
Speaking
Somebody
of
will speed
Googling
up.
answers and totally off topic, did you see that Arizona you can now take your driving test online at home?
Wait, the just the
Actual
Permit
the
test?
permit
The written
test?
test, yeah. Not the actual driving
I
test.
did not know that, but I'm glad to know that. 'Cause I'm gonna make my 16-year-old do that since your ass won't go down to the fucking DMV to do it.
So,
But
my thing is, what's the point in even having a test
Yeah,
if you can
'cause
do it at home? Because
just
you
Google
can
it
have
or have
your whole family sit there and help you
And
and
give you
Google
the
the
answers
answers.
and
You
shit,
can do it
yeah.
on your computer and smartphone, all the answers. How many feet away from a stop sign? Oh, okay.
For
you know,
what?
everybody's going to answer.
You didn't finish that question.
it doesn't matter. You just it's a guessing game anyway.
Because if it's turn
Do you
your
hit the
blinker
gas?
on before you turn, it's 50 feet. I know, because I
D.
missed that question originally.
Which is funny because I don't have a huge tape measure on the front of my car.
Right? That was the only question I missed on my driver's test. Is the one I never forgot. How
So
far
apparently-
before a turn you
It
supposed
should
to
always
turn
be
your
in like
signal on?
seconds or something.
Apparently, there's a new Atari coming out.
I was like, yeah, there's a new Atari console coming out. There.
Ronnie just sent the link for it, but I can't get the stupid fucking
Is
thing
it
to
going to
open.
be next gen type Atari, or is it going to be like
No, it's
a
gonna
classic?
be.
a classic.
No,
It says
Atari,
classic
it's got
gaming
like
console.
1,000 fucking
it's-
games in it or something.
Yeah, and it looks pretty sweet. I haven't really got.
We have a
looked
little
too
bit of a
deep
delay
into it.
between us and live, so he'll probably answer in just a second.
1,000
But,
games? There's like 12 megabytes of
System,
game on it.
Right. But yeah, no, Atari's coming out with a brand new system, so
back up the whole console on a floppy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's one of the things you don't see new systems come out.
See?
There was
See,
a
floppy
fucking
right there.
picture on Facebook the
Topical.
other day that had like somebody holding fucking a stack like this tall of those and said fucking
All the old
125 megabytes,
Mhm.
and then one fucking
Flash
USB
drive.
deals, fucking 100 or whatever gigabytes, and you know it's like
Yeah.
Look, somebody 3D printed the save icon.
I remember our first digital camera.
Yep.
We had to carry around 100 of these because this thing, on its highest quality, I think it held, what, like 30 pictures?
Some give or take.
no shit.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're all old fucks.
And
we
I have, like,
remember the real floppy fucking
yeah.
disc, the
And now-
5.5.
Yeah,
Oh
Actually,
hell
floppy.
yeah!
ones like there.
And now I
That's
have
Yeah.
like,
fucking Oregon Trail
Yeah,
right there.
yeah,
You had to be
fucking-
careful putting it in.
Had to
So
open
Yeah.
up that, yeah, so you
It's
don't
like
have to
pushing
open
rope.
up that thing and
The little
slide that bitch
little
in there.
little deal that flip the
Yep.
other way
Yep.
like that. Like,
Slide that bitch in
because
there.
you didn't want it shooting out at you.
right?
And then
and it would too, because when you open it up, it really eject the fucking disc with a spring at you.
I remember when we first got that camera tube, man, that shit was life changing, and that was like 3 megapixel, I think, or something like that.
All right.
Which is less than 35 millimeter. And now now the
Smartphones
shitty
outdo
phones
the shit
have
of that.
12
John's
megapixel
phone
cameras.
does better than that almost. On a good day.
Yeah, and then there
No,
was
the camera's
nothing
good on
worse.
it.
These fucking floppies were so fragile. There was nothing worse than going out and you go to some event and take a bunch of pictures and then you come home and plug it in.
Corrupted data.
Didn't work.
Oh, that was the worst corrupted data, man. Whenever that would happen with your floppy, it used to piss me off. I remember when I first started playing computer games, they would come on fucking floppies.
Yep.
And I remember
Yeah.
I remember the first computer game I bought that was on a CD was Doom 2. And I was so fucking excited that it was on a CD-ROM and not on a goddamn... I didn't need 72 fucking floppy disks. I just needed one CD-ROM.
And the day you brought it home, you dropped it and cracked it.
No, I brought it home. My computer wasn't good enough to fucking run it. I had to go spend another $340 to upgrade my system memory so I could run the fucking game, but it was worth it. It was fucking
Can't tell you how
worth
many
it.
times I bought RAM to keep up with WoW. in
Exactly.
my
That's what I had to do.
game playing
Yeah.
experience.
It was
of
like, because like my first computer had like
With
4
what?
gigabytes of
World of
RAM on it.
Warcraft.
Oh, Warcraft.
Then I needed 8 gigabytes, and to just get that double, it was like $300 something, and it was so ridiculous how crazy it used to be.
How long
to
did you
try to
play
do that.
Warcraft?
about 4 or 5 years, I think.
Really?
Something like that.
Is it anything like the movie?
I'd say
I
the
just
movie's
watched
closer to Warcraft than World of Warcraft.
Yeah, the movie is closer to what happens in like Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2, the original games, which were
Orcs versus
strategy
humans.
games. It's like you controlled the armies. You didn't just have your one little dude running around fighting people and shit.
Oh, okay.
So like you had to build your armies, like your foot soldiers, and send them to fight the orc foot soldiers, and you had your archers and all that shit.
I think the movie's set like 3,000 years or something before World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's set. The movie because I watched the movie not too long ago, which I enjoyed it. I don't
I
know
just
why.
watched it like a week ago.
I don't know why it
I've
was
seen
good.
bits of it,
Like
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know why internationally it did great. It didn't do good here in the U.S., but internationally it was huge.
I think here it would have done better if they didn't put a Warcraft name on it.
And name on it, yeah.
And it didn't need it. It was
Yeah.
a good movie without being all like, hey, that's Thrall or Ogremar or whatever.
But the movie set between the first and the second video games. Like what happened in the first game and the second video games, or what happens in the movie. The characters are straight out of those, with a little bit of kind of what happened in the third one. And then after the third Warcraft is when they started WoW.
Did you ever get to play Mr. T?
Oh, on his
No,
flaming
I
pig.
did not. Didn't see him.
Did you see Mr. T running around?
No. Drew Chitwood's the one that got me into
What
that.
about Leroy Jenkins?
Jenkins.
What about Leroy Jenkins?
No.
Leroy Jenkins! I used to yell at when I what game was it I used to play? There was one multiplayer game I used to play, and I would yell that when I was going to do something stupid too. And it would, just like with PUBG, it would piss my teammates off. They're like, "God damn it, he's going to do fucking something retarded." Because I was telling John, I put a video up on Facebook the other day.
Shit. I love it when they do it on
of,
Archer.
Yeah, I put a video up the other day on Facebook of me doing stupid stuff on that PUBG game on motorcycles.
Right.
When every time I get on a motorcycle, I try to like do backflips over buildings and shit on
Right.
motorcycles. And it's
Instead
got
of
the
trying
point-
to kill people?
Instead of trying to kill people, I'm out there like it's the fucking X Games.
Right.
And I got to the point where my friends, if I get on a motorcycle, they won't get on with me anymore because they're like, he's gonna do fucking something stupid and kill us. Instead of us trying to win this game by shooting
Great,
people.
we're playing with Leroy Jenkins today.
That's exactly what it is. And yeah, and there was this one part in the video where I do this backflip in this motorcycle with a sidecar. And my friend's in the sidecar. And you can't hear it, but the whole time in the headset, he's screaming, "Motherfucker!" as we're flipping upside down because he thinks we're about to like lose our match because I'm doing stupid shit on the motorcycle. But yeah, Leroy Jenkins, good
That was so
times.
funny.
Good times.
Good times. I used to love the videos of people losing their shit when someone would jack their loot.
Yeah.
Like, and they would be losing. You motherfucker!
You can't even fucking use that!
You know why?
And it's bind.
Right? Like, oh god, I used
It's
to
shop
love those
fodder
videos.
now, you
And them
asshole.
kids fucking lose their minds.
I have Big Bang Theory when they have you seen the episode where they get Sheldon's World of Warcraft account gets hacked?
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
They come home and the room's full of cops and he's hyperventilating. What happened? We were robbed. They got everything. And he's looking around. He's like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, my World of Warcraft account. Well, he starts naming off like his is sword of this and is gold this and that. And he's like, you seriously called the cops because your World of Warcraft account got hacked? He's like, they even got my battle ostrich. And he's like, oh no, not Glenn.
Man, hey, gamers get attached to shit, man. It's just how it is. So we get attached to our stuff in and out of our games.
Yep.
I remember how addicted we got to the Realm.
Yeah.
What's the Realm?
It was like one of the first online multiplayer
It was
role-playing
2.5D,
games.
if that.
Yeah,
And
2.5D.
pretty much.
made some pretty good friends on there. Made it to level 1000 and
Yeah, there was
Played
one
that
I
shit
used
for a
to.
long
I
fucking time. It
used to
was
play
super simple.
religiously. Was this one game called Neverwinter Nights, and I played the shit. It was straight D&D. I think it was 3.5 rules, but it was just straight D&D. And set in the Forgotten Realms, and I played that so much. And one time I remember, like. The guy who ran the server was paying for it. And he's like, look, I can't keep paying for this. And all you guys who are playing, you guys need to start donating to pay for the server costs. So I'm going to have to shut it down. And I remember he ended up shutting down. And I was so mad I lost all my fucking gear like I had. And it was just like that shut episode. I was like, I had fucking Galdor's armor. And I had my fucking flaming sword of Alluriel. And I had my fucking dwarven chainmail. I was like so mad about all this shit I lost in this video game. And it was one of those moments when I had to stop there and go, it's a fucking video game.
I remember when...
Fucking video game, calm down.
I'm pretty sure it's when that came out. They boasted that it was this groundbreaking. They actually used electronic dice rolls every time you attacked or everything.
Yep.
And I was like, that's really fucking cool. And I'm like, that doesn't fucking matter. You don't see the dice rolling. How do you care what random number generator they use to determine whether or not you hit this thing?
Well, because you cared because you could actually see it. In the because there was like these two different little windows. There's one you use for chat, and that was one for all the game information. So like when you made a roll,
Oh yeah,
when
it
you
would
made
actually it'd say
when
you rolled
yeah
or
when you
whatever.
made an attack, so it would do like
That would
your,
go by
it would
so
do,
fast you couldn't really
it
read
would do
it.
your attack. Your 1D whatever it is, 1D10, 1D8, depending on what your weapon was. Then with your plus, if the weapon was enhanced, all that. So it did all that calculation versus the thing, so you could see
It's
it.
going right fuck over.
So
right
over your head,
fucking
right past it.
It's leaving
But-
chemtrails.
but-
you could see it, and what
One
was good is
8-sided
though
dice
is
or
that
one
when you
10-sided
missed,
dice.
at least you could see why you missed.
Yeah.
You're
But-
like, oh, I rolled a motherfucking 1 on that. No wonder I'm petrified.
But in
So at
hind-
least you knew why.
But in hindsight, how much smoother would that game have been if they didn't have to
Wait
show
for
you
it to-
exactly everything
Yeah,
that's...
but like
digital
Brian
dice
said, it
rolls.
went by so fast. You'd have to open that window all the way up if you really wanted to track it. But it was nice to be
It
able
was
to
just a
see.
blurb of...
Yeah, it was nice to be able to see that was going on behind the scenes. So at least you had a reason, like I said, why the hell did that fucking, DC 14 Petrify hit me? I have a wisdom of whatever. Oh, I crit it.
For a long time on the Realm, speaking of Windows,
None of that made sense.
it for a long time didn't
That was
differ-
some deep nerd talk right
Stop talking Chinese.
That was deep. That was going down.
didn't differentiate. There was just the chat window.
Yeah.
So you're in the middle of this battle with your 3 buddies, and somebody says, "Oh my God, cast freeze on the sorcerer," and then something else will cast a spell, and they'll say, "Blah blah blah, cast a spell and did 5 damage on blah blah blah," and you're like, "Shit, what did they say? What did they say to do?" Because it was chat,
'Cause it was in
all
the
the
same
actions were in the
window.
same window.
Yeah.
And
Everything in
For a
that
long time
whole
it
map,
sucked.
like if somebody was shopping in the local fucking city talking about buying bread and shit, it was popping up
They
in the
put
middle of your
everything in
fighting
there.
screen, Yeah.
Yeah.
they finally made tabs and made it a lot better, but for a long time it
I remember
was
how
hard.
that game was free to download, free to play, and then after I don't remember how long it was, they started charging. And I remember
After they got you hooked.
Yeah. Well, no,
Drug
it was
dealers work, man.
it was eventually it started charging because it got popular enough they had to, but
Get them on the comeback.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, at first it was. I think the plan was to keep it free forever. It just got too big. But I think we were all so pissed that they were charging, and I think it was like $6 for 90 days or some
Yeah.
shit. It was a ridiculously low amount. But
Last time I
we
checked, there
weren't
was still a
having
Realm server still open.
Really, so you
Yep.
can still play it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's probably still way,
I'm sure it's basically the same game, just with more dungeons and stuff.
and it's probably still fun as shit.
Probably.
Probably still better than a lot of the
I
newer stuff.
thought about going to try and get back on
Let's
it.
see. That's one of those things too. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll be thinking of an old game. I'm like, I kind of want to log into that, but then I kind of don't because I might get sucked back in again, and there goes X amount of my
You'll
life
lose
until
a
I
week,
pull myself
yeah.
back out of
That's
it.
I'm like, fuck, man. How do you guys have time for all that?
I
shit?
started playing that game
Don't
on a laptop,
anymore, but
and I had no fingerprint on this finger for a long time, just from
Oh, because you would
playing
do
the
it
damn
from
game.
doing the touchpad. See, I can't use them fucking touchpads in games. I have to plug a mouse into my laptop. When I
We
had a
didn't have any
laptop,
money. We
Yeah.
couldn't afford a mouse.
they're like $5.
Not then.
Oh yeah, we're talking back in the day. Okay, yeah. Now they're like $5.
And I still think it's funny. The first time I went to buy a mouse for my PS2, I had trouble because I'd go into the game shop or computer store and ask if they have a mouse for the PS2. Like, you need a PS2 mouse? Yeah. And they'd give me a PS2 mouse, not a USB mouse required for the PS2.
Because the name of the plug on that
Oh,
old shit was
PS2.
PS2 was the name of the plug.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you didn't say PlayStation, they just thought you wanted the little round plug instead of the new, better USB plug.
And I had no idea. I'm just like, I need the special plug for the PlayStation.
It's not special. That's the
Back then
new
it was
norm.
special.
That's the new norm.
Yeah,
Well-
computers didn't even have that shit yet. Huh?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
They didn't have USBs yet. They were still each thing you plugged in your computer had its own special individual shaped plug.
Yeah.
And now our life
Just
revolves
for
around
it.
USB.
half
now
round
every-
with a flat bottom.
Exactly, or half round with a little notch, one with the like 3 pins, one with 6
Purple
pins.
One
one,
that looks
a
sort of like
green
a-
one, a
an
blue
8 sideways.
one,
Yeah,
a white
It
one.
was nice when they started color coding. 'cause
And
they didn't
nothing
used to.
interchanged with a fucking thing.
No,
either.
they didn't. They didn't use to color code. You used to have to just try to fit. It was like playing the kids game when you were a kid, and you had to put the star here and the circle here. It was like that shit matching it up. Then they started color coding. Like you said, if it worked on an HP, it wouldn't work on a Dell or on a
And the same-
whatever else
yeah.
other computer.
And the same thing with cell phones. Every single cell phone charger was
A different
totally
plug.
different. There was no such thing as like,
The
You know,
Android
Well, do you
borrowing-
guys fart, or is that the tacos?
I think it's the taco.
That's the taco.
I'm like,
Someone let some beef loose in this motherfucker.
Damn, I don't know if that smells
good
horrible
or not. He's
or
like, should I be
good.
hungry or should I be closing my mouth?
that's exactly
No,
what the
seriously,
fuck.
I have no
I'm
idea
like,
what's going on here.
My mouth was open and everything.
Brian's like, God damn it, I don't want pink eye.
Should I be happy or upset at this smell?
Be happy, bro. That's the tacos.
Oh,
Be
fuck,
happy.
okay, all right.
But after the tacos, there might be a whole different
It might
smell
be
in
some
here.
beef.
Fucking out of here after that.
There
Shit.
might be some beef after the tacos.
Son of a bitch.
That was fucking good.
Ah.
But yeah, everything used to be different on the plugins, and it used
I
to
love that
drive you
Kel
crazy.
remembers what we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Right? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm still games. What?
But yeah, that was the most, like, cell phones, man. That was the coolest shit ever when they started making them semi-universal. Because before that, if you didn't have the exact same make and model, you weren't borrowing a fucking
You know
phone
what?
charger.
I'm fine if the part that plugs in your phone is different. I'm glad they made them all a USB on the other end.
Right,
So it doesn't
yeah.
matter what little fucking connector I have in the wall.
Right.
I can just plug my cord into there,
Yep.
into anybody's. I'm like, does anybody have, I don't know what the fuck the plug part's called. I'm sure it has an exact name. Like, does anybody have a fucking plug for the wall?
Yours is, I think the new iPhone one's still the Fire something, or other Firewire, right? Isn't that what the
I don't
iPhone
know.
one's called?
I have no idea, but like I just liked it that it was just a USB. So all I needed
Right.
was the little prongs to go into the outlet with the USB on it. And
And
everybody
now,
had one
shit,
of those.
They make wall outlets. I got a couple I bought for my kitchen island, and they're just haven't put
Oh
them
yeah,
in
they
yet.
already have built-in
Mhm.
USBs built into your electric line.
So everybody
you just
comes over with their cord, they just plug that motherfucker in.
plug them in. Yep.
I remember when somebody on Facebook shared the tip that like if
Just the tip.
you're like at a motel or something, like all the TVs in motels have a fucking USB port. So if you forget your charger, you can charge off TV.
Yeah.
And you're like, that guy's awesome. Thank you. You're like, holy shit.
It's funny because, like, just from traveling with multiple fucking cell phones and all that shit for so many years, when I used to travel all the time, I literally have, like, the 3 outlet fucking expansion plug thing in my suitcase that stays there. I have a 6-foot extension cord that stays there.
Right? Yeah.
Because I get so fucking sick of going to a hotel that has one plug in.
I've got my house charger. I've got my truck charger. And I've got my charger in my backpack that goes with me
Yep.
to motels.
I have a little bag of cords that just stays in my luggage now, and it's got a 5-prong USB, so I can just plug all that shit in. It's got an extension cord. It's got the multi-plug. It's all that shit. And it's got ever since I got snowed in a fucking $2 hotel that had
Thanks,
an old
Brian.
ass regular television.
Thanks, Brian.
I now carry the fucking AV to HDMI converter so that if I get stuck somewhere, I can still use my Fire Stick.
See, and I was about to say that. What I love now, unless you go to one of those fucking motels, because that's the places Brian sends you. Every hotel you go to now has has a little HD TV in it,
Right.
which all have HDMI ports, so you can take your Fire Sticks with you. You can take your game consoles with you. It doesn't matter what you have. You can plug it into their TVs.
This one in
and run
particular
your
didn't
shit.
even have channels. It was just a regular ass tube television.
They had the fucking slider fucking deal
Like,
on
no,
the top.
do they have the
Of course,
little,
the first,
like
of course, the
13
first like
channels?
the first 3 hours I was
Well.
there, it didn't even have electricity, so it didn't matter a whole lot. But.
None but the best.
But yeah, I love that with the HDMI. They all have HDMI, so you
Right.
can, and then you just tie into their fucking free Wi-Fi and you're watching your Netflix. So it doesn't matter if the hotel has HBO now or not. You're not watching that anyways.
Bring my own HBO,
Right.
God damn it!
Even the crappy motel here in Coolidge, when we stayed there this summer when our AC went down.
When your AC went down, yeah.
We just watched the full season of that Justin Bateman, the laundering the money and stuff.
Ozark.
We just binge watched that.
I'm amazed that I knew that. I
Yeah.
never knew anything.
Nice.
I'm surprised I remembered his name.
My memory is so fucking horrible. You remember that one show that had that blonde chick and Bruce Willis? That's
New Jack City. No.
Fuck
No.
all of you guys.
Speaking
Fuck
of-
every
No.
one of you.
Speaking of Warcraft, have you guys ever watched that? The Preacher? What's that? What the fucking channel is it on?
AMC.
There you go. Seen The Preacher?
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, pretty much the whole cast was in Warcraft. If you ever
Oh.
watch it,
Oh,
the
wow.
king was the preacher.
Okay.
Yeah, that was based off a comic book, a graphic novel,
Mhm.
but I
Preacher?
haven't watched it yet.
It's a
on
good show.
AMC.
It's definitely a good show. It's worth watching. It's,
There's just too many freaking shows out there to
Yeah.
watch now.
I watch fucking. The only ones I can religiously watch is Archer, Street Outlaws, like all three versions of Street Outlaws.
I was a huge
and like
Street
my
Outlaws-
racing shows,
Yeah.
like fuck. Other than that,
Game of
man,
Thrones?
fuck.
You're
Well,
up
yeah,
on
Game of Thrones.
Thrones?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
I was a
Friday-
huge Street
Friday-
Outlaws fan
Sun
until
Crew
this
the
year.
Diet.
This
Can't
year
wait.
it's turned to shit. I can't
The
stand
what?
all this year Street Outlaws. Now that they're like not even racing in Oklahoma 90% of the time, and they're not street racing anymore. They're just going to tracks and drag racing with guys.
Well, that's a whole separate series.
Well, yeah, but like the regular Street Outlaws series, like the last 4 episodes have just been about like preparing for those races that are in a different series and shit like that. And it's like all the drama part of it, none of the racing. I don't give a fuck about that stuff. It's like there's almost not even racing in there anymore, and it's all about racing. It's kind of took a turn.
It's funny, like each show, because there's Street Outlaws, the original that's in Oklahoma. There's Street Outlaws New Orleans, and there's Street Outlaws Memphis. And it's funny how like all 3 of them separately operate their own fucking specific set of rules that like they almost always win when out of towners come. Like,
Right.
I mean, it could be fucking John Forrest with his fucking funny car fucking rolling up, and they're gonna fucking find a way to fuck. Oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that, can't do this, can't do that, and you know, so they.
What'd you do? Turn your car on? You can't do that here. Are you using tires?
Which is funny because all 3 of those locations are within distance of driving and racing each
fucking-
other.
Yeah, like
They do. Well, that's how it started.
They do.
Okay.
It's like all the New
branch
Orleans
off.
guys would come in and race with the Oklahoma guys, and
There
I
was
guess
one
it was,
New Orleans
it was-
guy that would kick everybody's ass.
Yeah.
And then so they then gave him his own show. And then there's this other guy from Memphis who's just a fucking crazy motherfucker.
He really doesn't win anything. He's just he's just a big character.
So they give
Okay.
him his own show, you know, and but it's funny like how, you know, they always have, you know, on each show they'll have like, oh, you
They
know,
restrict the
a
shit
crew,
so they have.
a crew from
yeah.
fucking Kentucky is coming to race us in Memphis, and fucking 9 out of 10 races the fucking Memphis guys win. And I get it, you have some home field advantage, but it's like,
Yeah.
really, like, you can't fucking. I mean, you gotta fucking split it up a little bit there, you know.
Because
Fucking-
Brian's like, I go everywhere and win, motherfucker.
They,
Don't matter whose track I'm
matter,
on.
doesn't
I thought it was
Win
cool. They had him on every once in a while, but now he's a full-time character as Jeff Lutz.
Oh yeah.
I've been following that dude since
He's
way
the
before
OG. He's
yeah.
the godfather of this whole fucking.
He's
thing.
just a guy that started out street racing, and he's been in all the magazines and shit back when there was still magazines that mattered for racing and shit like that. But
He is the guy.
he was what's it called? Drag Week. He's won Drag Week a bunch, and the 2 or 3 years ago he did it. Drag Week basically is an event where it's a week long, usually through the Midwest, and it's like 7 or 8 drag race drag tracks in 5 or 6 days,
Right.
and you have to drive there.
It's almost like the NFR Finals Rodeo where you're fucking racing every day.
But you have to drive the car you're racing between tracks. You can't have support vehicles. Every single tool, every single tire, everything you use has to be in the race car, and you have to drive it back and forth.
They're allowed to tow a trailer.
Yes, yeah, but it has
So here's
to
the
be
fucking
under
like Jeff Lutz and his Pro Mod towing
So-
a fucking trailer.
And that's what I was getting at
Going
is-
down the fucking highway.
If you're from a state like Oklahoma or Arizona that has pretty lenient laws, he literally took a Pro Mod and made it street legal so that he could get a way better car to the tracks than everybody else
which
could.
technically a Pro Mod is. I don't know how he gets around the muffler rules though.
He puts mufflers on it, I think.
Like just to travel on the fucking highway and that like bolts them and unbolts them.
Or he just doesn't worry about it and hopes for the best.
That's
I mean,
that's
realistically,
even
all you
here
have-
you get a ticket for that.
Realistically, all you'd have to do is put it on for the licensing part of it, and then hope for the best after that. But it was funny as shit because it was the first Pro Mod I ever saw when it came out in like all the magazines. He on his roll cage he had welded in big steel cup holders in the center of the roll cage so that he could have them. And he would take off the big old drag slicks and put street tires, and he made this little trailer. So you'd see this Pro Mod going down the road with a
badass. I've
little
seen
utility
pictures of
trailer
it, yeah.
hooked to it.
That's
And then he'd
great.
get there and unhook the trailer and bolt on his big ass tires and blow everybody's. It was like a 7-second car,
Yeah.
and he's towing a trailer with the fucking thing.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. But then it kind of made it sound like every once in a while they'd be building a new car or something, and they'd call him for help, and then all of a sudden he was a big enough character that he's part of the show now.
Is he from Oklahoma City?
Honestly, I thought it was somewhere else, but close to there.
I
I don't think it was even
Everything
Oklahoma.
I thought he was a Texas guy, but I could be
I think
wrong.
it was-
Everything they're saying is just like.
Yeah, it's like
Midwest anyway, but
Now how's it feel, motherfuckers?
I like how the dude in the Napa shirt is saying that.
Right.
Car conversation.
he's like, all this car shit's right over
Right.
my fucking head. Damn.
But yeah, Jeff Lutz, he's a cool motherfucker.
He is. Fuck, he just wasted his new car. You have his new 57?
Oh yes, yeah.
And that on that, because now they have a fourth fucking series called Street Outlaws
No Prep Kings, which is
Right.
the dumbest shit ever.
They go. No, I think it's cool as shit. They go to actual
Debate.
drag strips.
But they're not
and
allowed to sticky the fucking
They're
track.
not. Yeah,
basically.
they're not allowed to put that fucking glue on the track, and they actually get them to like scrape off. So it's as close to a real street experience as possible, but yet there's all the safety equipment. You know, you're on a racetrack, not the fucking highway. You know, you're eliminating all the fucking variables.
The Christmas
Making
tree
it-
just goes green. It doesn't have staging
Yeah,
lights.
it's the safest form to go street racing, you know, quote unquote. But it's actually pretty. I dig it. But they're like going over, you know, it's like
They were
8
just in
races.
Tucson,
They,
like,
they did
a
it
few
in
weeks ago.
Tucson a
Okay.
couple while back. But like, yeah, he wasted his car at like episode 2, I think it was. This is like fucking, you know, $300,000-$400,000 fucking badass. It was like a, oh man, almost like the color of that rag right there. It was like a yellowish orange, not school bus dorky yellow, but like a
A
cool
good one,
yellowish
yeah.
orange fucking 57 Chevy, you know, fucking dragster. And this motherfucker was clean and fast, and he fucking stuffed it in the wall. Like just fucking wasted it. Ugh. It was almost crazy.
I was about to say, that hurt for you to watch, didn't it?
Man, I'm like,
Like when that hit that wall,
no,
like,
Jeff,
you
save
you
it.
felt a pain
Oh, like,
inside you.
Like somebody just like plucked a hair or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
Some island off of Russia, that's a good house to buy.
Maybe they're like,
So-
oh, I've got a room.
I got the room, it's upstairs!
like Alaska?
For in case it floods. Again, our accents, we don't
Not
know where
great.
we're
That was
at.
after
We don't know where we're at.
Alaska.
You sound like a fucking some deli guy from New York City or something.
Come here, my friend. Would you like to buy a rug?
Like, we all turned into fucking Apu from The Simpsons and shit. Oh, you like my slushies?
Nothing
My
wrong with the
slushies
slushie
are very, very
Every
delicious.
accent. I am from Mexico City. I am from Antarctica.
Hello, I am from Texas.
Hello. Where are you from? America. Duh.
Born in America, born and raised.
My name
Where's
is
the name in
Rich.
Minnesota, eh?
It's beer. Red beer.
Shit.
Uh,
Back.
We're available for voiceover work. by the
Right?
way.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Amazing dialect, mastery.
Same thing with our sound effects.
Yep.
We're like fucking. What was it? What's his name from Police Academy? My mind just went blank.
Black guy.
Really? He's a black. At least you know he's a black guy.
You have to be specific. The short black guy.
Yeah.
The short black guy.
Yeah, not Too Tall Jones.
I loved it. Oh man, Spaceballs is still one of his best. The beeps, the creeps, and the sweeps.
So John wanted to dive us into the conspiracy theory world tonight.
Before I do that, I have a question for Kale.
For what?
Okay.
How did your fractured butthole turn out?
My fractured butthole?
Yeah.
Dude.
Turned out well.
Nice. Was it fun?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Cool. I've been
Like-
meaning to ask you for a while.
It's like, for those who don't know, it's a South Park
Fortunately,
game.
your butthole has not been on my mind.
My butthole, well, it should be.
It should be.
Because it's
It really
fucking
should be.
amazing. No, they recently came out with the South Park game, and the subtitle of it was the fractured butthole, like
Fractured
BUTWHOLO, but when you
Right.
say it, fractured butthole. And it's straight up like it's everything that you love about South Park taken to the next level because they don't have to worry about TV censors or
and-
anything, or even MPA movie censors. They can go straight where you like. There's
Lowest
some
common
scenes where you're
denominator.
like, "That was a little bit too much for me. I need to back up for a second because goddamn, that was nasty."
Right?
But it was really good. It's a great like RPG battle game. Like it's really
So what are you,
fun.
like, fighting as one of the South Park characters?
Well, what it
or
is that in this one, you play what they call you the new kid. You just moved to town,
Okay.
so you meet all the other South Park characters, Cartman, Kenny, all of them. And in this one,
Every own little fucking guy that's like looks like you or something, or what?
yeah, you design your little dude, his character, just how
Yeah.
you want him to look, guy or girl, whatever. It looks like a South Park character, round head, blah blah blah. And so in this one, it is that like the kids are they're playing a game, so they're playing superheroes in this one. And so
Dun,
like
dun,
everything,
dun.
yeah. So like everyone, like like in the backyard, they built like they turned their little like clubhouse into like a super fortress, and everyone's wearing superhero costumes made out of your household fucking equipment and shit. It's funny as shit, and like one of them has like a waffle iron or some shit. And so then since you're pretending you have your superpowers, it's the whole when you were a kid, I shot you.
Right.
No,
So,
I have an invulnerable shield.
Exactly. But so it's with the South Park guys, and it's total South Park humor. The guys who make South Park, Matt and Trey, they wrote all the dialogue and everything for
First
the
name basis over here.
yeah. Oh, we're friends. We're buddies. They did all the story and everything. Is they wrote the story and the dialogue, so it's straight up South Park. But like I said, they could go that next level with it. So there's some bad stuff in this shit, but it's funny as fuck playing through it. And you have all the characters. Any character you've seen in South Park, you come across them in the game, interact with them. Some of them give you missions like go do this and that and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Chef asked you to lick his.
Chef's not around
Chocolate
anymore
salty
because
balls.
he's been gone for a
Yeah.
long time.
Did they fix the one problem I had with the Stick of Truth? That it seemed like for every 5 minutes of actual gameplay, there was like 30 minutes of walking back and forth to different people's houses that seemed to accomplish nothing other than advance the story.
There's still a lot of moving around, but they added more spontaneous encounters in between.
Okay.
So like you have to go from like one thing is I watched an interview with them in when they were doing the first game. This is the sequel. The first game I was watching an interview with Matt and Trey, my buddies, and they were like, one thing we had to map out this game world, and one thing we never thought about is where is their house? Like, okay, here's Cartman. Where's Cartman's house in relation to Kenny's house?
That makes sense because
If like you have to go
right,
from
they've never had,
Cartman's
like, an
house,
aerial map.
yeah. If you had to go from Cartman's house and walk over to Kenny's, well, where is it? Because in the show, you just see the outside of
Yeah,
their house. You
yeah.
don't see them walk down the street.
You never
past
see the
X and X.
traveling.
Yeah,
So they had to
exactly.
do like
You would've-
a
So
fucking-
they're like, we actually had to map out how is South Park streets actually laid out.
Like a
Where is
GTA
everybody's
fucking
house?
overview.
Exactly.
You have to assume
So-
like Kenny lives on the opposite side of the tracks or
Oh,
something.
he lives in a bad part of.
ghetto.
It's beyond the
Funky,
ghetto when
funky
you get to
ghetto.
Kenny's house. But it's like, who lives next? Like Stan and Kyle live right next to each other, which makes sense since they're best friends. Obviously, they grew up next to each other. That's how they know each other. Cartman's like 3 houses down and stuff like that.
3 doors
But-
down.
3 doors down. So, but yeah, so in
I
the
thought they
first
would have been
game,
in like a fucking the fancy neighborhood.
no, that's where Tolkien
Yeah.
lives. Tolkien Black. So,
Which is still one of the best character names ever.
best character names ever. The
The
one
Tolkien Black
black
guy.
character is named Tolkien Black. But yeah, his family's the richest family in town. I love it. But and he lives in this giant ass mansion. But yeah,
Richers.
so and like you're at Kyle's house, they're like, well, you need to go down to Cartman's and get something. So in the first game, you would like go out the door and walk down the street, and for a long ways, you're just walking. You go to Cartman's. Now on the way, like some 6th graders will try to jump you and whoop your ass, so you got to fight them and shit. So
gotcha.
like they added more encounters in between of your walking from here to there and there to here.
Make it seem a little bit more worth it.
I was like, when they give you a fucking skateboard or bicycle or something to speed that shit up?
It's not Bart.
Yeah, they do. They have in this one because it's superheroes. Everyone's like has different things. Like the character is on crutches. What's his name?
Timmy?
No, Timmy's
Jimmy.
in the wheelchair. Jimmy's on crutches. He's the
Yeah.
stand-up comedian. His he has the stutter. His superhero character is the Flash.
Oh, no.
That's his
Oh,
power.
God.
He has like little lightning bolts and stuff. But yeah, he's the dude on crutches. It's
That's
genius.
awesome.
But they have a fast travel system. Like once you visit a place, you can jump back to it. Well, it's Jimmy who zips up to you like the Flash and grabs you, and then zips you to wherever it is you're going.
Great.
But he has his fucking crutches out, and he's like running like
That's
the
fucking
fucking
funny
Flash
as
with these
shit.
crutches, and it kills me.
Ah.
And fucking the other one that's in the wheelchair, he's like has Professor X powers.
Oh, cool.
So it's like like X-Men since he's in the wheelchair.
Right.
So they like try to
There's
make
some
these
question
total.
if he's
Copyright
Yeah.
all
infringement.
there anyway.
Yeah, but they all have their different characters. Like Cartman's the Coon,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like a raccoon version of Batman. He calls himself the Coon, and he does the gravelly Batman voice from the Christian Bale. Hey, we get it. Come at you with the Coon. And he calls himself the Coon, which is totally like
Butters,
not good. But
Butters is great.
oh yeah, Butters is
General Disarray.
Yeah, with his
General disarray.
That's it. That's his follower. What's his Captain Chaos?
Yep, Captain
Commander
Chaos.
Captain Chaos or something? Yeah.
General
That's from
disarray.
Cannonball.
Is it?
And that's
Captain
his
Chaos
sidekick.
was,
yeah.
what's his name? Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds?
Tubby friend.
Oh yeah.
Dom
Dom
DeLuise.
Yes!
DeLuise.
There you
Cannonball
go.
Run.
Yep.
There it is.
His but yeah, there's Butter. They all each have their own thing, and you have since you're the new kid, you pick your superpower, and as the game goes on, you get extra powers, and so. But yeah, it is a really good game, and they make a lot of fun of. They're making fun of the Marvel and DC universes because when you go in the beginning, you go to Cartman's basement, and they have this board mapped out of their extended universe. First, they're going to do the Coon movie, then they're going to do Coon and Friends, and then each Friends will have their movies. But so and so is not good enough for a movie, so he gets a Netflix series, and we're gonna fit you in here. It's like they make
I wish
they
they.
make all
Awesome.
these these cracks at the current way that like the Marvel and DC movies are going. And
I wish
it's
they would quit
fucking
ripping on
hilarious.
Netflix because I want South Park to be on Netflix.
Oh God, yeah. Can you imagine if they could take away the restraints they have to do for being a cable show and be able to put it on a streaming service? That'd be awesome.
Heck yeah.
But yeah,
Probably
it's
won't be
a
Disney.
What
fun
our
ass
first
game.
run? What network are they on anyway?
They're on
Comedy
Comedy
Central.
Central.
Isn't there like, haven't they gotten relaxed in like after hours with shows?
They've always been fairly relaxed.
Yeah,
That was
because they
what-
have
that
their
was South
adult,
Park's thing, 'cause
like
remember,
adult shows.
when
and
it first
things,
came
but-
out, it didn't come on until like midnight.
Yeah, it was late. It's a little earlier. I mean, now it plays. You'll see it all day. You'll see all day marathons
Yeah.
on Comedy Central. They don't give a fuck.
When South
But,
Park first, yeah.
But yeah, when it first came
South
out,
Park
it was
first
like
came out-
11:30 at night or something. Is when
Well,
the
when it first came out, it was
episode
like
aired.
fucking what, in the 90s? When did that
Oh, it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was like 96.
maybe
Late 90s.
I'd say
It was,
98,
it was,
99.
it was late 90s. It was like 96,
But
97.
it was a
I
different
remember.
world.
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like 96,
I know it was
97 when
definitely-
it came out.
Oh,
No,
Already
Different
working.
World was the Huxtables spinoff.
I know I was already working because I used to spend half my shift over at John's house to watch it in the middle of the night.
Yeah, tax dollars at work.
But yeah, it's a great game. If anyone gets a chance to play either the Stick of Truth or that one, the original, the Stick of Truth, that one they're pretending that they're in like a Lord of the Rings type thing.
That was last gen, though.
So but they carried it over.
Did they?
They made a remastered for
Okay.
thing, so you can play it on the current gen systems. But Brian's like, what? But they made it. That one was Lord of the Rings, so
Can you play it or
everybody,
not?
everybody was like elves and all that kind of
Okay.
dwarves
Like traditional
and stuff like
role-playing.
that. Yeah, traditional role playing. And then this time they decided to make fun of all the crazy superhero-ness that's going on in the movies and everything in pop culture. But yeah, it's a great game if you want to play, as long as you can handle some fucking toilet humor, because there's literally toilet humor whenever you have a piece of shit Mr. Hanky show up to help you out with his superpower attack.
No, no.
Shoots corn at you, or what?
I can't. It's too
Rapid
much
fire.
for me to go into this podcast. I can't. I don't even want to remember what happened. Some of the scenes, but yeah, they really take it there. But it's a fun game if you ever get a chance
I
to
still
try it
think
out.
the first season of South Park was the best season.
I don't know. I think every
They
time
were-
a new
my
season
favorite
comes
was
out,
where
I'm like,
Butters was
this
a
is
pimp.
lame. Until it's 3 seasons old, and then I'm like, man, that was fucking brilliant.
Well, I still think it's great, but I just think the first one
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, the first one was great. What I just love about it is how they're always, because we've talked about before, they make the show so fast. They make it
Yeah.
within a week. They sit down on Monday and say, okay, well, we got to figure out what the fuck we're going to do this week. Well, what's going on in the world this week? And by Friday,
Who can
they
we
have an
make fun
episode.
of that's topical?
Yeah, by Friday they have an episode. So they're always talking about what's actually happening in the world, which is
I
what
just-
keeps it fresh.
Mom, Kitty's being a dildo.
I know it's like,
Kitty's
playing
with mommy tonight.
Yeah, that was the first episode. That was the anal probe episode.
What?
The pilot.
Yeah, the pilot was when the aliens came, the visitors came in. Cartman got that anal probe.
They
Oh.
ended up having this whole satellite thing that would come out of
Big
his ass sometimes.
that shit was like. You know, you have the satellite like as big of a house sticking out of his ass.
I missed that one.
They definitely just dove into the
Oh,
deep
they
end.
went like
Right.
right off in the beginning. They're like, "We're going right out there."
Fuck
He
it,
was
let's go for broke.
I love
this
how
makes
much
it,
in
we're good.
denial he was. They're like, "Cartman, there's a giant satellite sticking out your ass." No, it
No.
isn't. Screw you guys.
Screw you guys. I'm
I'm
going
going
home.
home.
Speaking of aliens, did you hear about that guy that got a... I can't remember if it was a
Text
voicemail or text
yeah,
message.
voicemail. It wasn't voicemail.
It was a voicemail.
I was at my compost site and I got horrible reception out there, so I couldn't pull up the audio. But basically?
I haven't
going
found a raw audio anymore. Every time I try and, like, it's a thread of that video or audio, that part has been deleted. All you get to see is comments. And it just seems to be rapidly deleting as fast as people can share it, but the SOS, Danger SOS, is what was decoded, and I think it's cool that all these Reddit guys and Twitter guys and stuff just love nothing more than a challenge of trying to decode stuff.
But it wasn't coded message. They keep saying coded message, and it was military code, but it was just the alphabet. It was Alpha, Baker, Charlie.
Yeah,
Delta.
Delta Niner,
It wasn't
6-5.
code. They just spelled it out. In,
Yeah.
in
Well, not that
phonetic
one
alphabet.
specifically, but there's been other, like that whole thread that Kara posted, because it not only touched on that, but it went on to all kinds of other stuff. But there's been several other things that had, I can't remember if the numbers were attached to that first one or not, that are,
The GPS
Coordinates.
Yeah, for where the Malaysian airline went down.
and then there's another one that I believe is the same basic idea. And a lot of them theorizing are saying that the solar flares that are going on like right now might be amplifying the black box signal from the Malaysian flight that went down.
Basically made the black box signal from the Malaysian flight turn into a phone call.
A
basically.
broadcaster that's sending these phone calls and text messages and stuff. But yeah, one of them says something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember, but don't trust what you think is human. They look like you, but they're not you. And
This is coming
another-
from the Malaysian black box still?
No, that
Oh.
one's a different one.
Yeah.
The Malaysian black box that turned into a voicemail, it said it gave the GPS coordinates of somewhere near the crash site. And supposedly if you put in those coordinates on Google, that whole area is blacked out
Yeah.
now. You can't look at it. It gives the
Do they
coordinates.
know where? Have anybody found it yet?
Yeah, they found enough of it to believe they know where it was at. But they, so basically it says SOS, danger, SOS, something, basically leave immediately. Oh, intimate danger. Intimate danger. Leave
Inanimate-
immediately.
inanimate danger?
Imminent
So it's
danger.
not
M&M's
animated.
in danger.
M&M's in
Imminent danger.
It's not animated
Candies?
danger.
What's
Yeah,
wrong?
Reese's Pieces gonna take them
None
out.
of them, dude. What the fuck?
And it
Look,
says,
that was ET's favorite. So I mean,
And
that
it
circled
said-
all
no,
the way
that
back
was
It's
around.
Reese's
all owned by one
Pieces.
Oh,
company.
Reese's.
Remember that?
and it said,
M&M Mars company.
and it said they're not human. But it was all spelled out in phonetic alphabet. It wasn't words. It was just Alpha, Charlie, David, Edward spelled it out to the.
Yeah, the next series, I'm not sure exactly where it spawned, but...
Well, and then supposedly on top of that too is, like 2 days before he got this voicemail, he goes and looks out his window and there's some guy across the street taking pictures of his house, and he doesn't think anything of it. He thinks it's weird, but then 2 days later he gets this voicemail saying they're not human and GPS coordinates to the Malaysian air crash site.
Yeah, another one that, like I said,
Sucks
I'm
to
not
be
sure.
that dude.
where this broadcast or whatever is theoretically coming from, but it was they might look like you, don't trust it, blah blah blah, don't believe it is they or us or something along those lines, kind of like cryptic sounding, but and then a series of numbers that the general consensus is 4/18/18, I believe, which is like the next rapture date. And so a lot of people are going off that, that's kind of crazy and stuff. And then...
so like April 18th?
Mm-hmm.
Is what? The world's going to
End
end
of the
again?
world.
Theoretically, yeah.
Again?
Yeah.
Again. I mean, the
Man,
world... I
they
know...
barely survived the last
the
one.
world
Shit.
has ended like 20 times
But
in the
this one's
last
real.
3 years.
The
but
one in
this is the next
2012
one.
almost got me. Almost got me.
He stepped to the side just in
It's like,
time.
holy
Just dodged
shit.
it. You talk about the movie, right? Because like I almost watched it too, and I'm glad I dodged it as well.
When is your son gonna be born?
6th.
4, 6,
Oh, I thought it was
Okay.
April something. And I was
4,
like,
18, 18.
Yeah. No.
maybe that's what it means. Is your world's gonna end?
And then the
It's the
Kara
end of
shared
the
thread
world as we
ended
know
with people talking about this is supposed to be a bad year because of the rapture and this and that, but I guess Stephen Hawking, before he died, predicted that 2018 is going to be a dire year for mankind, mostly because of smart technology, which kind of was spot on with what we were talking about last podcast and the incident in Tempe the other day.
And off we go.
Yeah.
Fucking not even in the first quarter of the year, and we're fucking killing people with machines.
Yep. Didn't take them long.
So
Fucking told you.
Okay, self-driving cars. Okay, for those who don't know,
For those of you
self-driving
living
Uber,
under a rock that
a
still
self-
listen
who
to our
doesn't know,
fucking podcast.
right? A self-driving Uber ran a woman over in Tempe, and
Of
so
all
now
places.
Uber has stopped all the testing of their self-driving vehicles as is investigated. Now, here's the first thing I have: okay, self-driving cars. Eventually, it's gonna fucking happen. I don't care how
It also
perfect
had-
your system is.
there was also a backup driver, a real
Someone-
person sitting
yeah.
in the driver's seat.
Eventually,
And you
it's
couldn't
going to
do anything
happen.
about it.
Someone's going to get hit by a car because fucking people get hit by cars, whether it's
Yeah.
being driven by a
If
computer
you
or a
walk out
human
in front
being.
of a car, it doesn't matter how magical
I don't
it is. It
care.
can't fucking
Yeah,
stop.
it could be driven by the fucking Keebler elves. Someone's going to get hit by a
They
car.
wouldn't
It's
see over
just
the
going to
dash,
happen.
and they'd be running over.
One
Yeah.
working the steering wheel, 2 on the gas pedal. It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
Communication takes
But,
forever.
it's one of those things. I was waiting for it to happen for a self-driving car to hit someone because nothing's infallible, just like a human being, we hit people with cars all the fucking time.
If you have elves
It
running
was
the
gonna
pedals
happen.
and you want the guy to push the brake pedal, do you yell at him to start or stop? Do you want him to stop doing what he's doing, or do you,
You
want
just-
him to start pushing the
You
brake?
just call
He's
out his
about to
name.
ruin.
You just say, Larry! And he fucking hits the pedal.
Larry Elf.
Larry the Elf. Hey, there was a Buddy the Elf. Why not
Larry
Larry the Elf?
Keebler.
Larry Keebler.
Curly and Mo.
That Mo's driving, obviously,
Yes, of
so
course.
Curly would be the right pet, would be the gas.
And I think it's just rapid head slaps and nose
Yeah,
gouges.
little, so for those who don't know the Three Stooges,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I expected it to happen, so I wasn't surprised that someone finally got hit by a self-driving car.
I
Well, we had a cop
this
hitting-
thing just started, didn't it? Like, how long has this been going?
Self-driving cars have
Couple
been going
months at
on
least.
the roads
Uber's-
for Uber's just started. But
Couple
there's
months,
been other
man.
self-driving cars on the road.
Yeah,
for
but
a
what I'm
while.
getting at in the grand scheme of things, like, this is the infancy of
Right.
self-driving
Infancy,
thing,
cars.
yeah. This
And-
is the first.
And it's already happened.
This is the
Well-
first. I'm surprised it took this long.
What's
honestly.
what's funny is Tempe kind of seems to be the hub for problems with these things too, because there was the guy with the
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a fucking airport, man.
the guy with the self-driving Tesla, or their cruise
lights.
control is just better. It's regular
Yes.
ass cruise control, but it'll also kind of help keep your lane too, so you can let go of the steering wheel for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least you could have. Apparently, they've turned the
Shit,
feature
there's
off
like
now.
videos of people sleeping in their Teslas.
Right.
Fucking
Well, not
on the
anymore.
freeway.
Not anymore. Tesla's killed that option. So even if you had it before, you don't have it anymore. But a
why
Tesla
you never-
rear-ended
never
a
up-
motorcycle
update.
cop
Never
in
run
Tempe
updates.
last year, and he blamed the car. He's like, "Man, I was sitting with my foot on the brake, and it just lunged forward and ran into you." There's
Sure it
so
did.
there was no evidence to support that. Really, probably just
That
he
was,
accidentally hit the
I
cop
think,
and blamed
and
the
he's
car.
like, "Holy fuck! I hit a cop."
Right.
That was my car that did it, dude. It drives
Right.
itself.
It's a
AI
Toyota. It's a
Kid,
Toyota
is
too.
real.
Kid, you should have slowed down.
AI is real, man.
Trust
See,
me, I'm going to punish it when we get
I'm
home.
sorry, Michael.
Look, I mean, like you said,
He was
it's-
yelling at the wrong elf. He yelled start instead of stop.
He didn't
or-
say Larry, but like you were saying, in its infancy, Man, like in the infancy of cars, someone got their ass ran over. You know, when they first started making cars, like in the first few weeks of cars being on the road, someone probably got hit too. So it was just, it's inevitable. Someone's going to get hit by a car, whether it's self-driving or not. I wasn't surprised. I don't know what changes this is going to make to the whole system.
My guess would be none.
I think that they'll do an investigation, blah, 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 and then they'll be back out there on the road because that's the direction things are going towards.
There was probably half a dozen cameras in that car to film what
That's
happened.
the thing too. Like that, they're going to be able to like review that from every angle. Like see how this woman got in front of the car. They'll give you a breakdown of like what actions the car tried to take, if it tried to take any. Was there any human error by the other guy, the backup human driver?
ADOT probably had 6 cameras that watched it
then
from
there's
a mile
all the
and a half
cameras.
away.
Yeah, cameras
through a
the
windy
traffic
tree
cameras
branch.
all around. And
How crazy would it be if the cameras show that she steps out and the car applies the brake and starts to go, and the guy's like, "Oh shit, a woman! I better grab the wheel," and accidentally straighten it back out into her?
Yeah, what if the car shifted away and the human driver freaked out seeing that there was a woman in the road and
Is that my ex?
he ended up swerving into her? That would be
Inadvertently just reaching for the wheel.
that
real
would be
quick or
crazy
whatever.
if it turns out that it was like human error. Like he was sitting there, the car's driving, and he was like, "Oh shit!" and his jerk reaction swung the car into her. What about that?
I'm pretty sure the guy was like on Facebook or something.
Yeah. And then we'll have to ask the car how it felt about it. You know, did you want to run this woman over, car? Was that your intent?
I would never want to run over humans.
I love humans. Ha ha ha.
I don't know.
Wasn't it like a Volvo or some shit too?
I didn't see what
the
kind of car
safest
it
car
was.
in the world?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was some form of Volvo.
Me and my one of my sub haulers were talking today about the inevitability of all this, and we're talking about that, and about there's several companies, long haul companies.
Yeah, we
that
talked
go with
about that.
driverless trucks and whatnot.
Tesla already has driverless trucks out
And
there.
so he was kind of like, he's like, yeah, they're gonna. And I'm like, dude, I was like, for one, I don't see the day ever coming. I mean, this would have to be way in the fucking future where like they can replace the short haul stuff. Where like,
Right.
A cement truck driver, or like the stuff that we do where we're going off road onto farms and whatnot and deliver, dropping in specific like.
And you have to do a bunch of manual labor when you get there with the truck.
I was like,
And
immediately though they're gonna have. I see trucks, like making L.A. to Miami or L.A. to New York or Seattle to. I mean, long distance shit where you fucking put a load in it and fucking send it on its way. I even see the thing where they're gonna have. To me, it would make sense if the highway system develops almost like a carpool lane for
I was thinking that
automated
before,
semi-trucks.
Well, that's what Elon Musk's trying to do with his
They
tunnels.
get them to a certain point, then they just fucking send them on their way, and then they never have to leave that lane, until they fucking get to wherever.
And
That's exactly what Elon Musk's tunnels are.
That's
supposed to
something
be.
I've seen that or I've read that in a lot of, because I read a lot of science fiction books. I have a lot of science fiction books that have, of course they're in the future, so their cars drive themselves, but they have that. They have like automated lanes where the person will be in their vehicle, and then they'll have like be talking about like the lane next to them is like the automated lane. There's vehicles just slamming past like hundreds of miles an hour, but they're driven by computers and shit. And that you can't drive in that lane. It's only for those vehicles for like the long transports.
Well,
and like you said, the long haul, I could see things like UPS and FedEx that for the long shippings and stuff have their big trucks run.
Well,
that
like
way.
the Tesla trucks right now, all they're hauling is Tesla batteries apparently, But yeah,
And
it's
that's
like
another
Elon
thing where
Musk's tunnels. It's literally his design is basically you leave your house, you get onto the main thoroughfare, you pull into a parking spot on the side of the road basically, which is an elevator. It drops you down into the tunnel, and then you get on a skid car in your regular old car, and then it just takes you. It's 100 and I don't know how they come to this number, but it's 124 miles an hour. It takes you from point A to point B. And you're not in control. You're on a sled that is hauling you.
Oh
basically.
shit! He's trying to fucking do this.
Well, he's already got the prototypes. Like under the whole Tesla compound in California, he's already got running prototypes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So literally, your car will be under zero power. It'll just drop down and get on this sled, little fucking baby tow truck, and it'll shoot you through this tunnel at 124 miles an hour.
Which is funny because all he's doing is taking the
the
concept.
vacuum tubes.
Pretty much, yeah.
All he's doing is taking the concept that's been around for hundreds of years, which are just trains, and just putting them underground.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like loading your.
It's a subway
like
system, yeah.
it's a subway system. It's
It's a
like
ferry.
loading your it's loading your vehicle onto the flatbed of a train and just having the train drive it straight across the country.
Which ironically,
But being
still have
underground-
conductors.
Still have
Well,
conductors.
even though you
a
can't
conductor,
turn.
as two people, a conductor and an engineer, but it's a fully automated system now.
Yeah.
They're only there as a backup.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
They
they
don't, they
can
don't
be.
actually. They don't. It's pretty much they input this information. The train drives itself. But and the great thing about that though, if it was underground, is then you don't have to worry about trains crossing, over roads or someone
Right.
parking their car in front of it, or if it's all underground, then they can go that fast because they don't have to worry about intersecting. And
Right.
if it's just a straight tunnel with no cross tunnels, then you can go as fast as you want from A to B because there's nothing
Yeah.
to run into between A and B.
And he's already got an automated Tesla running around in outer space
Yeah.
on its way to Mars.
Yeah.
So the Roadster.
How cool would it be to like drive to Phoenix, hop on one of those sleds that it takes you to Vegas or LA, like that?
At 124 miles an hour
With no
without you having
stops.
to drive.
In a straight line.
Man, that'd be a complicated ass fucking network of tunnels though.
Well, it's probably only going to be super major points. It's not
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah,
like...
well,
it's
yeah,
gonna
I-
be
I-
a little bit-
yeah.
It's gonna be like when you go to the airport
Like
and you get
every-
on if you're not on a regular plane, not a little puddle jumper, you're only going to certain cities that have
Right.
airports
Yeah,
that can
exactly,
handle it.
exactly.
It'll be the same thing. So it's only going to be major cities. Like Phoenix,
But still,
Tucson,
consider that every fucking
might be the
state,
only two in Arizona that might have a stop.
Yeah, but every state has its own fucking. And Danny can attest to this. Our country's fucking big. There's a lot of fucking miles out there.
And half the states in our country don't even have interstates yet.
Right.
yeah.
None to
So
speak
like,
of
there's
anyway.
a lot of fucking digging that they're gonna have to do.
Yeah, but it's all done underground.
And it's automated.
And
No,
it's-
I
It's
get
like
it.
how they,
Yeah.
it's,
And
like
it's
how
But I mean,
boring.
like,
it's like when they dug the tunnel.
The tunnel diggers are even automated. They do all the
holy
shit.
fuck,
Yeah.
man, that's gonna take some fucking work. But it's be badass when it's done.
If it ever happens.
If
I mean,
everybody
that's one of
agrees
those
to it and the
feature
geologists
but
concepts.
agree to
those
it.
automated burrowers are
I
gonna
bet those
make this
sorry fuckers are
complicated
gonna limit
web
it to like
that
fucking.
in 10 years
like
is all
small
going to
cars.
collapse at once and kill all of Americans.
Hey, do they just can't let that fucking women engineering group develop it? That did the bridge and. Where the fuck was that?
Oh, that
Florida?
bridge that collapsed in Florida last week or earlier this week?
Yeah, they're like touting, yeah, fucking fully woman. I'm
Indestructible.
Like, I thought it was bad. I thought it was bad enough that like a bridge collapsed, but then they're like turning it into like a sexist thing.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that was a little.
If a man would have designed it, it would
Yeah,
have never
like,
fell down.
that's a little bit of a low blow there, but it's
Little
still a
bit.
weird coincidence that it's a
But then again,
fully all female engineering.
But then
group.
again, how many bridges have collapsed in the world that have been fully
Right, exactly.
I mean, like pretty much.
So all the other
it-
ones,
not
But
too-
percentage
up to not too long
it's
ago.
like 100%.
Up to not too long ago, there weren't any women designing
Right,
bridges.
yeah.
There were only men designing
All
bridges.
men
And
design
them
bridges.
bitches were falling down. I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
we got a whole song about the London Bridge
Yeah,
falling down. I'm
right.
sure there was no women in that design at
didn't,
all.
didn't even come close to it.
There were
Yeah.
no women in the design of that,
Yeah.
no women in the building of
They-
that.
they
No
weren't
women
even-
could even cross that at
They
that
weren't
time.
even cleaning the trash can.
They weren't even
were
allowed to
fucking-
walk over it. But that shit fell. But yeah, that's one of those
That's
funny
not
things
like-
when you think about it. Because you go back like 60, 70 years, there were no women working in that in that field to have designed a bridge.
I thought,
And they were
I just
still
thought it
falling
was weird
down.
That, like, somebody,
But they went that far with it.
they went there. I'm like, so there's like a sexist
Someone
thing
someone
now?
took
It's
it
like,
there. But that's sad because someone will always take it there. Someone will always try to
It is.
find a sexist way or a
Dude, it's
racist
fucking
way to
the-
try to
the
put a blame
fucking
on why
news,
something
man.
fell.
The fucking
Yeah.
news.
They'll-
You can't just say a man shot another man. There's like a fucking white guy did this to a black guy, or fucking this guy did this to this guy, and it's like, really? Like, fuck.
But I mean, I can kind of get why that's brought up because when something does catastrophically fail, people want to know why. Did they use different concrete than the last bridge that was built? Did they
Were
use
they
this
on-
or did they do
were
that?
they all on their periods when they designed
I
it?
don't know,
What
like
was different
the-
about this
like,
than this
They
bridge?
probably used subpar cement and concrete because all the good shit's getting shipped to China.
That's probably the real reason it happened. Like, you know what also cracks me up too is when it comes to anything like that, bridges or, you go back to like when the space shuttle exploded and shit like that. All that stuff is built by whoever said they can build it the cheapest.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
including space shuttles.
including the
It
space
all
shuttles. It's
goes
like
out for bid.
whoever they put a bid out there, and whoever comes in and says, "I can build this for the absolute cheapest," is the one who gets the job. So obviously,
It
it's
should be
not
the other
gonna
way
be.
around.
It should be the other way around when you're talking about bridges or space
Or at least
shuttles.
split the middle. The one that
Yeah, it
comes in
should
the middle
be-
gets the job.
Yeah, it
Like
should
fucking
be,
Armageddon, fucking
exactly.
Russian, American, all made in
And
Taiwan.
right? Exactly. And that's how it is. It's like it's all that always cracked me up. That it's like these super complicated or really important things like bridges and other shit is built by whoever said they could do it the cheapest, and that's kind of scary when you think about it because that person obviously, if they did it way cheaper than anybody else, they had to cut some corners somewhere.
Very
Otherwise,
few
they're not
things-
making money.
Yeah,
Right.
very few things in this world are chosen because they're the best at it.
Oh no, yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, they're not cutting into
Most
their
things are-
profits. They're
yeah. Most
Yeah,
things are
cut the
chosen.
cost.
even in the
Exactly.
military world,
Because
Especially
they're still gonna
municipalities
make
or
money on it.
especially government funded in any
Yeah.
form, city, state, whatever. Fucking,
Yeah.
if it's a government funded project, it's the one thing they'll give priority to is women owned businesses, minority owned businesses. They'll lean towards that, but still, it comes down to who can build this fucking thing the cheapest
And the
get it
fastest.
done on time.
Exactly. We can get
even
it done
like
the
when it
fastest
comes
and
to
cheapest.
military shit, you look at like the biggest and baddest, newest Air Force jet technology. That goes to the qualified people. Once they get it designed and have the prototypes working, fuck whoever has the
it's
lowest
Legos
dollar
at that
starts
point. Who can
building.
put it together?
Yeah.
We give you the plans and the parts. You just put it together.
Yeah. And like I said, and that person who said, I can do it the cheapest, they still want to make money. So they're going to cut what corners they have to so they still make a profit doing it, even though they're doing it cheaper than show and show.
Oh, yeah.
They basically quote unquote buy a job where they'll just bid low to get it, and then they start figuring out how can I turn a profit on it.
And you see that all the time. What was that old movie I just had my wife watch? The Towering Inferno. Do you remember the Towering Inferno? The giant skyscraper on fire.
Oh, I
And
heard it. I remember
old
about it,
old
yeah.
school
Yeah,
movies
yeah,
back
yeah,
in the
yeah.
'70s. Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, OJ's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the biggest, tallest skyscraper ever built, super high technical and stuff. And then like a fire starts.
Catches fire like
Yeah,
halfway up.
yeah, exactly. And like the sprinkler systems don't work. And as more shit goes on, more things break, and they find out that the guy who designed it is in the building, Paul Newman, and he keeps trying to do shit. He's like,
I didn't know
he's
he was
like,
an architect.
yeah, he's an architect.
Okay.
He plays the architect. All right,
The architect's
motherfucker.
hell of a
But like
salad
as
dressing.
he's like trying to turn systems on, he's like, why is this like this voltage box? Why is it this one? This can't handle the voltage. No wonder it blew out. Why are these water pipes? These were I said it's supposed to be this grade. Why is it this grade? Because the builder cut all these corners and put in low grade shit to make money because they were behind on time. They're behind on costs.
it built
Next
by
thing you know,
Fike?
you have this giant building on fire.
Built by Fike.
So I don't know. Hopefully they'll come out sooner or later and give us a real reason why the bridge collapsed, other than it was a fucking all female
Yeah.
engineering staff. But it's like, how many people died in that fucking deal? Like I saw pictures of like blood running down the street. Like pretty fucking gross.
Damn.
Like fucking it smashed a car and there's like fucking blood running out from underneath it. Like I mean like a
It's probably transmission fluid, goddamn media.
But yeah, that was,
Toyota Lives Matter.
that was yeah, that was a crazy one, the bridge. But yeah, we'll have to see what the final investigation show, and then you never know if you can even believe those, because someone's gonna be covering their ass somewhere.
Maybe the Malaysian airliner hit it.
We
Maybe.
might. Hey, we need to wait for someone to get a voicemail with their Alpha Delta Niners to tell us what really happened.
shit.
I don't know. It's probably just all. Maybe it was alien construction.
Possible.
Or
They
magic.
were using
Elves.
technology.
Or else, yeah.
Keebler elves. How's our fucking new tournament going? I was bummed to not see Ariel Winter make it.
Yeah.
Oh, that bums you out.
It's going good. We're she's a quarter way through the first round.
Like, did that hurt you?
I'm like,
She's like, that's my girl.
yeah, I started to resort back to how angry we got at the fucking
when you were in the
superhero
super,
fucking.
you started to get those feelings.
There's
again?
no way that she could beat
Like,
her.
You motherfuckers! Ugh!
Even after the breast reduction, she still does it
Dude,
for
she
you.
is still hot.
Well, she went from an H to a D, so I mean,
Fuck,
she's still
right?
up there.
She's cute.
Look at him, he's still thinking about it.
And like the picture that Helen used for that one was like I think it was pre-surgery. So like
Yeah.
she's literally got these fucking like chin rests, like literally right here, and I'm like, hello, motherfuckers! How do you not see what I'm seeing?
Who beat her?
And vote? I don't know. I don't even. Yeah.
I can't remember.
That has him so upset he doesn't even know who,
I
He's
was
like, who
like,
fucking
fuck.
cares?
who that went on.
Some
It's
chick
just, it
not as
wasn't
hot
her.
as Ariel Winter. I know that.
I think in that one I voted for what's her face from Two Broke Girls.
Me
Oh,
too.
yep, Kat Dennings. I think she
Kat
won.
Dennings.
She has
That's what I
got
voted
some
for.
Yeah.
fucking
They're
chin
good.
wrists
She has good
also.
ones, too.
She does not show them off, but every once like there was a season finale where she put on like this fucking dress, and I'm like, holy
Oh.
shit!
Where have
showed-
those been all?
she showed it.
She has
showed 'em off.
fucking watermelons.
She showed him off because she was in the hacked celeb. Her phone was hacked and they got her topless photos. They're
Oh
on the
fuck!
web.
Really?
They're on the web, dude. She's out. They're,
Now I
The
know what I'm
fappening.
doing on the way
yeah,
home.
there you go.
On the way home.
Yeah,
Not
was
even when
that
he
the
gets
fap-
home.
Fuck
Yeah,
no!
yeah.
I'm as soon as
Yeah.
I get to the truck. Kat Dennings.
Yeah, no, she was in part of the phone hack.
Oh,
So they
wow.
have her topless photos that she took with her phone out there. So she's showing
Thank
them
you,
off just
thank you.
involuntarily.
I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I look out for you.
Another reason not to have an iPhone.
Touche.
Another reason not to take fucking nude photos of yourself and then save them on your cloud.
Oh no, they
right?
should keep doing that.
Yeah, keep
Well,
doing
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Fuck,
Keep doing
yeah.
that.
Bite your tongue, Kale. What the fuck?
It's just that's just one of those things like you should know better if you're a celebrity that people are going to try to
this is
break
like-
into your shit.
And
As
it's
a
probably
fucking-
one of those automatic things, and they had no clue. It went straight to the
Right.
cloud, and they're like, delete, no problem. It's
We're
gone.
good.
Well, and I'm sure you can relate. I mean, being the father of a fucking young girl,
Mhm.
you know, you have one, I got two. You're like,
I got two.
what the fuck? You got two girls? I thought you said- Okay.
Mhm.
So we're in the same
We're in
boat.
the same boat.
So now I'm like, catch myself like, so this is happening now.
Mhm.
What the fuck's going to be happening when my girls are fucking teenagers in another, 10, 12 years or whatever? Like, what's the new...
It's happening for me now. I have a 16-year-old.
Oh, shit. So you're going
So,
through it.
yeah, So I'm worried. I'm like,
I
I'm
mean,
really
this is like
glad
the
that
shit
she's
that I
like
go
the
through.
kind of girl who's like, she's not, into that whole
Right.
voicing and stuff like that. She's more about like, being nerdy and watching Star Wars and Doctor
Right.
Who and shit. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like it's scary though to think about it. Like when you said like, it's out there and you're like, that's my baby girl,
Right?
baby girl.
I want to have to shoot a 15-year-old kid in the face.
So like, ask Danny because
Don't
he's
want
already
to.
gone through his baby girls going out and having babies.
Right?
So that means somebody did something to his baby girls.
I know, right? How do you wrap your head around that? Like, what the shit? There is a person sticking their parts into my child.
How do you wrap your head around that, Danny?
Oh my fucking god! Like, that's gonna be a tough.
Here's how you wrap
No
your
one
head
as
around.
dramatically as Brian does, apparently.
Here's how you wrap your head around it. Just
Just
keep
like-
telling yourself that
Parts.
Ariel Winter is somebody's baby girl.
Man, no, I
That's how you get through it.
I can't look at it that way.
You gotta look at it. Your wife is somebody's baby girl.
I
Put
can't-
your parts in her.
I can't look at it that way.
Your parts in there.
I can't view it that way.
Put your parts. That was fucking good.
It wasn't until like I became a father of a girl that I realized what like looking back as I'm shaking the hands of fathers of girls I've been with, like they have that knowing look.
Right, they're like,
I know what you're
I
fucking
hate
doing,
you.
motherfucker.
Right?
Like,
Yep. Like,
I would murder you if it was legal. Like,
Right,
hey,
like,
nice to meet
if
you.
I can find a way to get away with it, you're done.
How's it going? Want to go camping?
Oh, there's a cliff I would like to show you.
Right? Like you totally understand that side
Oh,
of it now.
fuck,
That you didn't get then.
I get
You
it
didn't
now,
get then.
fucking loud and clear. Loud
It's got to
and
really scare you
clear.
that there are Brian's out there.
Right?
Dude, right? And I know it. I believe in that karma. Absolutely.
Oh,
I believe in
man.
karma to the point where it's like, oh man, I am fucked.
No.
I am fucked. I mean, at least I was nice. I mean, I didn't, but I mean, I was fucking man.
You can't even figure out how to get to the end of a
It's
sentence.
like all those baby girls.
There
They were all someone's baby girl.
There were many.
Brian's gonna go home and write a bunch of apology letters.
to
Dear-
dads.
dear
sir.
Dear blah blah blahs.
I realize now that I'm an asshole.
I
I
understand
never should have put
now.
my part in your baby girl.
Sorry, I put my parts.
Yeah,
He
part.
didn't say
plural.
part. He said parts.
Yeah, plural.
He knows there's more than just one
Well,
part
I mean,
of him going in this
I
baby
don't know how
girl.
y'all get down, but I get down.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's something you have to reconcile yourself with when you have children, when you have girl children. When you have boy children, you're like, he's gonna put his parts in somebody's girl, yeah. Oh, and then you can't do that though, because your wife is like, you know, when you talk like that, you're talking about someone doing what they're gonna do, and I'm like, I know. I don't want to think about that part. I'm just thinking about my boy.
Yeah, just right
smashing.
now. It's different. I think I'm gonna move him to like fucking Greenland or something.
Right, where there's like 20 people.
Yeah, like some fucking Eskimo village in the northern Alaska.
What was that movie with
You know what Eskimos do to keep warm, right?
Shut up, John.
They put their parts in.
Fuck! I'm trying to shoot from the hip here.
What was that
It's a
Ben
thought
Stiller movie
process.
where
Whales.
Walter Mitty or whatever? Did you guys
Oh
ever
yeah,
see that
yeah.
one? Remember that? Yeah, when he went to Greenland and the guy in the bar, he's like, "Don't cheat on your wife on an island of like 30 people." Like,
Wow.
like, you can't do that. He's like, I'm moving to Greenland where I know everybody.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So on that note,
I think that's probably about as far as we could take this
That's
for
not-
Oh, we
today.
can take it farther, but
I mean,
we
yeah.
can stop there tonight.
alrighty then.
Thanks everyone for
Yeah.
showing up,
We love y'all.
watching. We love you all. Don't be putting your parts in Brian's baby girls.
Please don't. Please don't. Don't make me shoot you in the face. I
Don't-
will shoot
don't-
you.
But
Don't
in the
make
face.
him shake your hand and give you that look.
Right,
but do put your friends in our Facebook group.
Yes.
Adam.
Who's Adam?
There's got to be an Adam that can be added.
There's at least one Adam out there. Somebody knows an Adam.
Alright, well, put him in the group.